Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ask a Scientist Gaming, where we combine mediocre gameplay with expert science. I'm Ken Hansen, Associate Professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Florida State University. I do things all light matter interaction, photons driving chemical processes, but more importantly, joining me today is Dr. Bridget DePrince. Bridget, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, I'm Bridget DePrince, Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, Florida State University, physical chemist, and I primarily teach a lot of general chemistry, physical chemistry, and our analytical chemistry courses.
All right. Equally important, what game are we starting with?
The new Super Mario Brothers.
All right.
Ready?
You press start. Let's do this. I think this is the most, I guess I played Mario Maker, but other than that, this is the most modern version of Mario we've played on stream.
I don't want to copy a file. Off to a good start here. How do I get out of that?
Try the B button, the bottom one.
Okay.
And A button to get that.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, they like reverse the buttons on this one. I'm not sure why. But yeah, we'll let you settle in before bombarding you with questions.
All right.
You said, how long's it been since you played?
This, I would have to ask you, but it's been, I think I was pregnant with my oldest, so 5 years ago was the latest time, but really we're talking 2011 probably is when I got really obsessed with it for a very short period of time.
And obsessed with video games means many different things.
For me, it was obsessed, but it was just a week or two that I beat the game maybe 3 or 4 times, something like that. The buttons aren't where I remember them.
Oh, you're using a different controller.
Yeah.
So Bridget played this on the Wii, and we're using a Switch with the Joy-Con controllers mounted. So yeah, this will be a learning curve, but it's a pretty forgiving game. You'll get in the groove in no time. So what we got to do is get obsessed and then speed run a game.
I can't figure out how to go fast with this.
It's holding probably Y or X.
Yeah, it's Y. Okay, so now I know how to go fast into a mushroom. I was just trying to headbutt him at full speed.
That's perfect. You know, really, this stream is just an excuse to play video games and drink. So the science is just a tangent.
Oh my gosh! This is embarrassing.
Do you run out of lives in this? I don't even know.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I have 2 lives left. So I'm going to run out of all my lives on the first level.
And then what happens?
Start over.
You're on level 1. It'll be fine.
Call it? Call it what it is. Okay, we're going to start slow and steady. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a mushroom there.
Yeah.
Buy me some time.
Play it safe. Is Eugene going to watch this?
I think he's going to put girls to bed, I hope. Maybe after.
Watching.
Yeah, probably. Adeline's getting her tubes out tomorrow.
Oh,
so she's got surgery at 7:45.
That'll be fun.
But yeah.
If I remember correctly, they just take the kids back, right?
Well, when she got them in, they had me come, put her in the bed and sit with her for a second. But I don't know what they'll do here. It's kind of funny. She's a little nervous about it. And she wasn't, she was only, 20 months when, I'm assuming that's the same thing, but I need to check. Yeah. Okay, why not? Yeah, I don't remember the squirrel suit from the Wii version of this.
It might not have been in it, actually.
It could have been.
It's one of my favorites in Mario Maker, though.
I like the penguin suit. Is there a penguin suit in this
I think
one?
there is in this one.
I like to hate the penguin suit.
So if you do a normal jump and hold the jump button, it lets you sail.
Like that?
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to jump without twirling. The twirling's great.
B button.
Just B. Yeah, I think I'm hitting the trigger at the same time or something. Okay.
All right. So we've given you 3 minutes to settle in. You clearly know what you're doing. We'll start with the opening question. Obviously, 6-year-old Bridget DePrince, or Bridget, Good. Did not think she wanted to be playing Mario on Wednesday night at FSU. So what path led you, one, to chemistry and two, eventually to here?
So chemistry, I will say, is very a boring story. I was kind of good at
B-Butt.
okay.
That one.
All right.
Yep.
I was just kind of good, I guess, at math, and I had a really amazing chemistry teacher in high school. Shout out to Marie Swan. And she just told me I was good at it and just kind of encouraged me to get involved with, the science Olympiad groups, things like that. And then I went to college. So I was a first generation college student. I think you were too, right?
No, I was
okay.
second gen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I really, I wasn't underprivileged or anything, and I don't want to pretend like I was, but I did. My parents were, my mom was a dental assistant. My dad was a welder. So I had no idea what college was even. I thought if I got a chemistry degree, I could go to medical school or teach high school. Those are kind of what I thought, my options would be. But it was a very similar thing. I had a PChem professor my junior year that just told me I was good at it and encouraged me to do research with him. Really, honestly, this is, it's not, I hate saying this to students, but it's not something that I had a lot of forethought about. And I want that so bad. So I did research it with him, and I wouldn't say I loved it, but I was intrigued by it. And he really encouraged, I guess, me to apply to graduate schools. I did graduate early, so I graduated in 3.5 years, and I worked for an analytical company before or after graduation. So I did have a little bit of real life experience that helped me make a decision that I at least wanted to try something else. So I went to graduate school for all the wrong reasons, just because I didn't know what else to do. And I did, I think it probably took me a couple of years, but I did eventually come to love what I was doing. When I when it was time to graduate, I knew that I didn't want a research R1 position. I did, so my research, my background is in ultra high vacuum spectroscopy, we'll say, but just sort of dynamics. And that's an expensive field, both in terms of money and literal time investment. So as a graduate student, it was not uncommon I remember one 4th of July where we had to vent our vacuum chamber, and I was in lab for 17 hours on a 4th of July, and we had, our detector was liquid nitrogen cooled, and so I would have to come in at 2 a.m. to fill. And it was hard, right? It was just kind of hard to have a normal, quote unquote, normal life, make plans. I worked when my laser worked. I also had a pretty old cranky laser. So I knew I didn't want to do big R1 stuff. I just will say that. And thought that I wanted to do more PUI things.
Written peanuts.
And so PUI is a primarily undergraduate institution. So doing research with undergraduates, but on a smaller, cheaper scale. But I had what we call a two-body problem in the business. I met my husband in graduate school, so we both applied for jobs at the same time, and FSU was willing to have us both. So I'm teaching faculty here, and I'm happy with it, but not necessarily what I set out to do. Yeah.
None of us set out to.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I guess very few. I don't think there's ever been an origin story from anyone that's been a guest that was like, this is it.
But I think, at least for me as an undergraduate, that's not how I viewed the world. I viewed all of the, from doctors to professors to anybody in a professional setting as like they were called to do it from day one.
Yeah, no. I really like opening with that question because it really dispels that. Because most people, it's like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just thought this might be a good idea.
What am I trying to do here?
I honestly.
I won.
You won. Congratulations. roulette.
Yeah.
What's going on here? 3-card Monty. Like it. But yeah, I think our undergrads definitely underappreciate that. So have you done this? Oh, what's the name of the program? It's like they have this freshman mentorship, like freshman.
The FIG thing?
Yes, the FIG thing. I got invited by one of my former students to talk to her FIG class.
Yeah, I got invited too, but they never followed up, so I might have been disinvited. But no, I've never done it.
Off the record, I'm curious what student. It might be the one that.
It was a male, so maybe it's a different one. But yeah, I try on and that was what I try on the first day of class to. I mean, you can't go too far, or at least I feel like I can't go too far with it because I am an expert. I am here. I want to be here, kind of thing. But also, I understand what it's like to be a little, look at everybody around you that if it seems like they've got it all figured out, and
the imposter syndrome is
yes.
very, very real.
Yeah.
That's something to students, like I give this timeline of events, and I changed majors 4 times as an undergrad.
Oh, wow.
Like I started out athletic training, then exercise science, then biomedical science, and then chemistry.
So I really wanted to be a math major, but I had convinced myself that chemistry, because of the med school thing, I convinced myself that it would be a more practical major. And I always kind of viewed chemistry. We had a really good chemistry program at my high school, but we did not have any physics. So I didn't take any physics until college. But I always I know you're going to hate this, I viewed chemistry as like math, but with context. And now it's, ironic that we're arguing to try to get rid of a lot of the math in our kit. But I mean, that's how it was enough to get me into it.
Man, that was one of the questions the students asked me at the Q&A thing in the presentation was like, do you have a conflict with biology or physics? It wasn't exactly that, but that kind of mentality, right? Where it's like chemistry is better than physics, is better than biology.
Yeah.
And the answer is like, I kind of used to, but like you grow out of it as soon as
So you used to have a chemistry is better than...
Yeah, like
okay.
I hated biology, or I went away from biology because I assumed it was all memorization. Maybe that's just the way the classes were taught.
Well, and I think this is to me, it's like the nature of how different people think. Like I have a really, really hard time, and I do sincerely have a hard time with how complex biological systems are, and like the nature of a chemist. I want to understand on an atomic level what's going on.
Yeah.
And even to a certain extent, 2 atoms scare me, right? So much less cells that undergo this spontaneous, beautiful arrangement. It's a different kind of thinking to me. I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but
no, there's a level of abstraction and uncertainty you have to accept,
and there has to be, right? I mean, we would be a very boring. We'd be in a very boring place if everybody needed to rederive the, Euler relation every time they wanted to do anything with it. So they're. I'm going to do it at the same place, aren't I? Okay. Oh, a different place. I'm going to do it at a different place.
This is an intimidating level. So I play Mario Maker, which has this version of the game in it, but it's all the basic levels, so it doesn't have any of these fun mechanics. So I'm enjoying watching this. I might actually play this after. They also don't have the...
I cannot, for the life of me, get that B jump down. I want to hit the Y for whatever reason. And he's going to get sick from all his little twirling.
All right, so yeah, if anyone has any questions, guest today is Dr. Bridget DePrince. She's an expert in gas phase molecular dynamics, spectroscopy, I guess we could say atmospheric and astro.
More of a context, yeah. So the stuff that I studied in graduate school and as a postdoc had applications in astrochemistry and atmospheric chemistry, but I wouldn't claim to be an expert in either field. But
that's fair.
But yeah, the dynamics that goes on in these environments where there aren't a whole lot of molecules around, so low pressure environments, cold environments, is very different than what happens on Earth. And so it's sort of my expertise is in fundamental techniques that we can use to make and isolate these exotic species that we would never be able to, buy at Sigma Aldrich and study.
Really hard, pain in the ass measurements.
Yeah, very finicky. Very finicky. And one of those things that you don't, it's low signal stuff to begin with, and lots of literal moving parts.
So you're doing like helium clusters, or was it just single molecule?
Single molecule, yeah. So in graduate school, it was cross laser molecular beam stuff. In my postdoc, we did cross laser beams to make methane diol. So methane diol is this interesting molecule that astrochemists really want to find in the interstellar medium, because it would offer evidence that these biological precursors could exist in those environments. And
why methane diol?
It's unstable. So you think about your central carbon atom with two hydroxyl groups on it, but in an environment like a cold star-forming region, it can exist. And there's one specific model. It's called a gas grain warm-up model, where you've got a particle of dust in these regions that start to warm up, hence the gas grain warm-up, and you can get something like these species that are formed still really, really cold on these ice crystals, but then can go on to form sugars or other biologically relevant precursors. The reason for something relatively simple like methane diol is because in astronomy, they're going to inherently take these spectra, these pictures of outer space, and there's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. So there's an argument to be made that the simpler the molecule, the simpler the spectral fingerprint, and the more certain you can be of detection mm-hmm. of it. Okay, should I try this again? I think I have to.
Totally not Eugene says, FYI, your children might not be going to bed tonight.
Yeah, well.
I'm fairly certain that is your husband. If not, it was a threat.
Weird, yeah. That got creepy.
But it's because it's totally not Eugene. It could be anyone.
That's true. The names cannot lie.
Hello, Eugene. She's going to play some Punch-Out later so you can lose your internet points, so stick around.
I did that already. Oh, sorry. That was really loud in the microphone, I bet.
No worries. We got a dampener on here, so it'll work out. Just in case people yell and rage.
But yeah, that was we used a cross molecular beam to introduce oxygen into methanol, but it was in a supersonic expansion in an ultra high vacuum chamber.
See.
So that it would actually hang around long enough for you to get a spectral finger, right? This is the problem. If you want to know what the signature looks like, you have to. Did I go? I died.
Can you go to the next one? Mm-mm. Oh, you got to get to the castle to get a save.
I died.
All right. Yeah. No. Well, now we get to relive it. Let's do it.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I promise you no one shows up to the stream for the
fair.
gameplay.
Well, they did.
And if they do, they're sorely mistaken.
Yes.
So we were in the science and technology stream.
Oh, look at that. That was totally accidental.
That was veteran.
I just want the question mark.
Methane diol. I didn't know that was a...
It's one of the big ones that they think are in these star-forming regions, but they've got, so there's one, just like as an example, if you had a spectrum from one of these sub-millimeter telescopes, you could have a relatively small region of the electromagnetic spectrum that you're probing, and it could have, thousands of line signatures, but we typically only know what a very small percentage of them are. Mm-hmm. The simple analogy being that if somebody robbed a bank and you had their fingerprints, you would have to have everybody's fingerprint on the planet to be able to definitively identify that person. And it's similar for molecules. We need their fingerprint in order to say, yes, this molecule is in this spectral signature. But like I said, it's hard for some of the interesting molecules that are hypothesized to be in these regions. It's hard to prove that they are because we have not ever been able to see them in a lab setting. So trying to make them in these not trying to replicate space, but just trying to make them in a cold, isolated environment so that they don't have enough energy to wiggle apart, and they don't have enough energy, or they don't have anything to react with. So common like ions or things like methane diol that have that steric, not a hindrance, but unhappiness about them.
So there's a trick with the squirrel. If you do the normal jump, the B jump, and then hold it, you'll actually sail.
Like that? Okay.
Yep. which isn't going to help you in a but
good to know.
It's a cool
and I'll lose it anyway. I think I want to get something else. The squirrel.
Fireball's pretty safe. So it's not single molecule. You're doing ensemble measurements.
What's your distinction there? I guess.
I mean, is it actually measuring one molecule at a time, or you're measuring clusters?
Yeah. There's
it is
one
single
molecule at a time. Yep.
Oh.
So there are, there are clusters that are formed in these supersonic expansions, but they're unavoidable, and there's sort of something that you isolate, identify, but then just live with the fact that they're there. But it's not. The goal is to get, single molecule dynamics.
Mm. Measuring single molecules is hard. For those of you that don't know. They're small.
They're small, and then the stuff I did in graduate school was not spectroscopy in the sense that we're used to, like you shine light on something and you look for absorption or transmission. We were doing kind of combined mass spec stuff with them. So you would make these. I'm yammering, so tell me when to stop. But we would make these unstable things in an ultra high vacuum setting, but then we would send them into an ionization chamber that would ours had 200 electron volts, so we would literally blast them apart. And then it's like trying to put a puzzle back together for what mass to charge ratios did you see, and what could it have come from, and try to piece it together.
Your spin jump is killing you a lot.
I can't, so it's like I'll try harder.
No worries.
I appreciate the unsolicited feedback.
It's hard. Focusing on both is tough.
Well, I still don't. That's part of the problem is I don't understand what the difference is that I'm doing, but I must be. It's just my.
So the trigger is the spin
fingers.
jump, right?
No, I'm not hitting I don't think. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's the trigger that you're hitting.
Oh, why am I doing that?
It's just how the hands rest. It's not a comfortable controller.
Yeah, you're right, but I'm doing it. I am doing it. I don't. It's just it's a thing. I don't know why my brain is doing that. See, no trigger.
Yeah, see, they added way too many buttons to these controllers. I need the Nintendo 2-button, Sega 3-button.
Where did I slide before? Here?
Spin jump, yep.
Okay, so no spin. Oh.
Sometimes it's useful.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. I know why I'm doing it. Because I'm holding the Y down to run fast, and it's hard for me to hold the B at the same time to jump. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh!
Ha!
Good save.
Veteran wall jumping. I like it.
Oh, but I'm not going to be able to get over there. Okay, B.
All right, if anyone has questions for Bridget, I would argue she knows more about all of chemistry than most of the people in our department, because you've taught so many different flavors of classes.
Maybe not all of chemistry, but I think I have a perspective on how we at least claim it fits together in an undergraduate
we claim
curriculum.
It fits together.
Well, it's hard, right? I mean, this is something that you were talking about. The biology, chemistry thing. I even as a chemist sometimes struggle with. I kind of wish I was a physicist, because the molecules are, the physics that governs molecular behavior, and you have to kind of take some things with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that was one of the things So I did ice tables today because we have an exam on Friday, and I closed out chapter 13. And like, you know, the approximation for whether you need X or not. What error bars of existence are you comfortable with?
Yeah.
What
And
is
it varies, right? I mean, it depends on what you're doing. This is something I'm teaching analytical right now, and what you might be happy with in one. Like if, I mean, they're all a lot of pre-med majors, but what you might be happy with, you wouldn't be doing an ice chart in a lab setting. But the premise is still there, right? If you're trying to tell somebody what kind of disease they have, you know, whether or not you're going to be happy with a certain confidence interval or not depends on how serious disease is, right? And what the implications are. How sure do you need to be?
Yeah, that's something I expressed to them is like, they're like in class, we get this artificial sense of rightness and that there's an answer, an exact answer every time. And it's like, nope, your existence is pretty much error bar based.
Yeah.
From the drugs you take to the car you drive in to the bridge you drive across, they are acceptable within a certain error.
Yeah.
And that's somewhat discomforting, but also if you look at the numbers, it's pretty good. That's not bad. So yeah, that goes back to that level of abstraction. Like I couldn't do psychology because it's too blurry. There's too many variables. It's too hard to...
Well, and there's the human component too, right? People are, I tell people I study molecules because they don't make choices, right?
Yeah.
Like there's something, I don't know, complicated.
Did you watch the trailer for the new Mario movie?
I saw I think Eugene showed me something about, there was somebody complaining that he was Italian. Or he wasn't Italian. It's Chris Pratt, right?
Yep. He's playing Mario.
Eugene, do you remember what I'm talking about? If he's still here.
He is. He said, I'm sure there's an interpretation of quantum mechanics where the molecules make choices. I mean, what does choice mean in that case?
You can hit 2 blocks. If you hit a block with that, our game is over.
Well, now we're gambling.
Oh.
I don't even know what that was.
Okay. Now I understand.
But yeah, the new trailer is for the one with Chris Pratt as Mario and Jack Black as Bowser, which was unexpected, but...
Yeah. Yeah, it was something about people on the internet being upset with something, and it was... But no, I haven't. The short answer is I have not seen it.
People on the internet are upset about many things.
Yes.
It's the problem with the internet. It just vocalizes a small group of people. Gives them a louder voice than they deserve.
Okay, no trigger button.
Oh yeah, triple jumps. Yeah, this might be a good game for the daughters.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think Bo could play this now. I don't know.
I don't know.
She's officially 6 years old now. Which
Is
crazy.
she?
Yeah.
When's her birthday?
October 14th.
Thought your kids were both November.
So yeah. Well, her birthday party, I think, is November. Actually, I don't know. I should look at the...
No, I think it's
Man,
next weekend.
this month has been chaos. I don't know what's going on with my life. All the kid birthday parties. So I'm only traveling twice this semester, but they're like within 2 weeks of each other. Non-trivial.
Oh yeah, how was Italy?
Italy was good. I mean, it's one of those, I don't like to complain about it, but like the people you go to a conference with, that conference could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And so your experience is really like the airport and then the hotel and then where you eat. And so it was really fun. It was in Milan and like, I enjoyed it. The conference was awesome. Got to see a lot of international friends for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
But it was like, usually Debbie and I would travel together on big trips like that, but just didn't work out this time. So, but it was fun. It was fun seeing people and meeting some new people. But I did get stuck with 24 hours of travel on the way back here, which was pretty terrible.
Your flight canceled or?
No, they just got delayed, and then like the next flight got delayed. Like I couldn't get the subsequent flight, so it was like 4 hours in the Atlanta airport.
Oh, this is never good. They're gonna give me a hint. No.
Luigi will show you a sample.
That's not a good sign.
You are completely incompetent. Would you like some advice?
There.
That's like Clippy of the Mario world. That was amazing. I didn't know they did that.
I mean, I know what I need to do.
Yeah. It's a matter of doing it.
Yeah. Speaking of, oof.
Mario getting crushed is the cruelest death in this game.
Ugh. Woo. Oh, well.
Oh yeah, what are we drinking tonight?
Spicy ranch water.
So it's a hard seltzer night. Bridget said any hard seltzer will do, and it was very convenient because I've had several guests do hard seltzers and I don't drink them. So we had the grab bag. So Julianne Grasso said she wanted ranch water. But you're like, ranch water, huh? Apparently it's from Texas. But it's not too bad.
Mm-mm.
I've had a...
It's not particular. It has a little after.
Yeah. Well, you have the spicy one too. Oh, nice. The frozen hit. I think you get a save after this if you beat him.
Ugh.
It is amazing you haven't hit each other yet. There we go.
One more I gotta do. Oh my gosh, it's not gonna happen.
Stressful. You got 2 hits. You're okay.
Oh.
Nice. Congratulations. Use the GG emote. Well done. You feel like you've accomplished something today? As I spent like 12 hours today spinning my wheels, but this,
Yeah.
you beat something. Actually finished it.
We'll take it.
Do you have a test this week?
I had one today,
Yeah.
and I had one last week.
It's hard. The tests just all fall on the same like window.
Yeah.
I really feel for the students.
Yeah, me too.
But
Yeah, I pushed it back a week because of, this class, I pushed it back a week because of Ian.
Hurricane. Yeah.
But it was, I did a poll to see what they would prefer.
Yeah.
And it ended up like half of the students were happy because they had an exam last week that they were going to have to fight 2 exams.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other half had an exam this week. Oh, okay. Now we got to remember this. But it worked out, I think. They're all taking, it's the 4130 class.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the class is taking thermodynamics either with Ollie Steinbach right before my class or with Rob Shurko right after my class. So
There's 2 sections of that? We have enough students for that?
oh, don't get me started on this. Yes, we do, but we should be offering 4410 and 4411 one semester each every semester, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What about me? Good night.
That is a green screen.
Oh, come back.
Be on this.
I'm okay. All right. Good night, daughters. Just walked into
What
a
are
wall.
those little groundhogs? What are they?
They're called moles, aren't they?
Moles? Okay.
I think it's just literally moles. I could be wrong. I've played a lot of Mario and never actually learned any of the names.
Oh man, I really like the idea of Yoshi,
Yeah.
but you complicate.
I like the idea of
Yeah.
Yoshi. It seems like he should be fun.
I do, especially with my shaking skills, my tendency to do that, and then you just jump off of him unintentionally.
Yeah. Betray him.
Yep.
Veteran. Yes, when I was at that conference in I'm at the conference in Italy, got into a discussion about testing, I'm like, you guys picked the wrong person to talk to.
Yeah.
This is genuinely one of my side passions.
What was the...
Well, it's just like they're dealing with classes of 300 people and like debating whether to do multiple choice.
Yeah.
And, they're against it for all the reasons that intuitively we think we should be. So I finally caught up on emails and I sent like, here's the review article, here's our paper on it. Like, I mean, I think most people are pretty receptive. It's once you see the evidence, it's kind of hard to argue.
I think though, we've talked about this before. I evidence that you can test the same things, but I still just can't buy into that there are things that you can't test in multiple choice.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think there are reasonable reasons you might not care for certain classes, but that's I think where for me at least, talking to people and myself included in that camp, right? There's just a
yeah, I would love.
You're not saying that you can do everything with multiple choice. You're just saying that.
I'm saying no one has shown that you can't. As in, there's no evidence to say there's some degree of knowledge that can't be explored with multiple choice, that can be with open-ended. And it might exist. And I'd be really curious to get someone that's actually an educational researcher to like design that experiment.
Yeah.
Because like of the, physics and biology and medical and engineering that they have studied, it just...
I tell you, this is not going to last long.
Platforming?
Yeah.
You're getting better at the normal jump.
Yeah. Okay, fine. My big thing is the synthesis of information. Like on the easiest example is drawing a Lewis dot structure. I can ask a question to see if they know what the right Lewis dot structure is.
That was close.
But it's not the same as asking them to draw one, right?
Yeah.
And I understand there's a subtle distinction between those two things, but I do think they are different.
Well, so the mechanism of recall is different.
Yeah.
But the question is it accessing a different part of the memory or brain? And I think that the argument is that it isn't. Like the student that can't do one can't do the other. But I guess that's the...
But that, to me, that's not the same. I agree with you, the student that can't do one can't do the other, but that doesn't... To me, doesn't seem... I mean, I'm not saying I understand it, but it doesn't necessarily equate to, they're the same thing.
Well, it depends. The same thing in the terms of the mechanism of recall, they're definitely different. But in terms of the information being accessed...
Sure.
Are they the same?
And I mean, one thing that I've been more willing to explore in some recent years is do we even care in a Gen Chem class? No, I mean, I'm not kidding. They're not experts. It's not an expert field. Why do we expect them to have expert level mastery and abilities?
Yeah.
Right? Why not let it?
That's what I would love to have our faculty take a Gen Chem or an entrance exam.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. We haven't seen... if you had me take an organic right now, I would get destroyed. I couldn't possibly take that.
I agree with that.
Right? But, we expect our incoming first years to know all this stuff.
Yeah.
But, we don't.
Okay, 4 lives left.
I think you could just go back to the castle if you die now.
Yeah, I saved it.
All right, we're 38 minutes in. We should do one of our predictions. Which one do you want to do?
I don't care.
You don't care.
How fast?
First one. All right.
I probably should define ambient because I find that's kind of arbitrary.
All right, let's do a prediction, ladies and gentlemen. Get your standard internet units ready. Here on Ask a Scientist Gaming, we ask science questions instead of predictions regarding gameplay, although we could do both. Instead, we ask science questions. And so Bridget has come up with several science questions that we're going to be asking through the night. So have your standard internet units ready. If you're not following us, click the follow button, get your 300 standard internet units that are useless for everything outside of the stream, but fun to win and get the victory on these questions nonetheless. And so you guys are going to have 2 minutes to answer this question. How fast are ambient air particles moving? Is it less than 500 miles per hour or greater than 500 miles per hour? Ambient meaning room temperature around us right now at 1 atmosphere conditions.
Moving around your head.
So temperature and pressure matter for this calculation, right? So we'll assume 1 atmosphere and room temperature, whatever that means to you. Those of you that use sensical units, is it less than 1,800 kilometers per hour or greater than 1,800 kilometers per hour? How fast are particles in the air moving? It's a fun statistical mechanics problem. These platforms are stressful.
Yeah, they are. Okay, I gotta say, thank you for pointing out the trigger jump thing I was doing. Whoops. Oh! How did I do that? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna throw up.
So stressful.
What am I supposed to do now? Oh, there it is.
Eugene's comment, I honestly don't understand what's wrong with asking them to draw Lewis structures. That is chemistry-related skill. Ask them twice. Question 1, identify the correct structure. Question 2, draw one. Both are relevant chemistry skills. I mean, that's true if you're testing the skill of drawing, but the problem is we don't actually teach the skill of drawing. Like, we just assume that students can draw structures, and we don't actually teach that. We teach the rules behind the structures. It's one of those your testing should correlate with what you're teaching, and often it doesn't in our classes, unfortunately. All right, you have about 10 seconds left. How fast are ambient air particles moving? Less than 500 miles an hour, greater than 500 miles per hour? Throw your guesses in there now. 3, 2, 1. All right, Bridget, what is the answer?
What were my choices?
Less than 500 or greater than 500?
It's great. So it depends a little on the molecule itself, but the air most of us are breathing is mostly nitrogen. And they're actually moving at about a little over 1,000 miles per hour at room temperature and pressure.
1,000 miles per hour. That is
just bonkers, right? It should hurt a little more, don't you think?
It's very counterintuitive.
Yeah.
To what we know about.
Speaking of, how do I open the door?
Probably up button. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. It's been a while. No worries.
I did it fine on the first one. I just completely lost.
Congratulations to Totally Not Eugene for getting that answer right. He doesn't even teach this class.
He has before.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago.
Oh, look at that. I'm so smart. Congratulations on your standard internet units. Use them wisely.
Oh, gosh. I forgot how much I don't like
Oh, what is this guy's name? Wow, he throws actual bombs in this one.
Oh, and then you gotta run away from this thing. Worth it?
Yep.
Maybe.
Okay, you got 2 more hits. Oh, one more on him.
One more, yeah.
Too easy.
Nice.
Well done.
Myself.
You earned it. So are these the same levels that you played, or is this a different game?
Familiar. Eugene can confirm, but the first one looked a little, well, no, they're a little different, but they're very similar.
Yeah. How fast are the molecules going? They're just so small.
And they collide with other things a lot. So they're rattling around really fast, but it takes a long time for them to get anywhere.
It's intriguing to think about it in the context of Newtonian physics, when it's molecular and atomic species. How that works out, it blows my mind.
I read that as layer cake dessert. Do not compute.
So we'll get back to the science, less ranting about testing. It was several drunk rants in Italy. But anyway, one of our standard questions we like to ask, what's the biggest mistake you've seen in lab? Or made yourself?
So that probably the biggest one that I can remember is, again, working on ultra high vacuum things. And we had a leak. It was actually in the lab next door, but we had a leak it wasn't uncommon, right? You spring the leak and your ultra high vacuum is suddenly not so ultra. And in the real world, even, most people could tell you this, to look for a leak for example, in your tire. You can use a soapy water solution, and the leak from your tire will, make bubbles, right, where you spray it on. But that's a positive pressure coming out of your tire that makes the bubbles form, right? So you spray the bubble solution on, your tire is spewing air into the environment, and it makes bubbles form. Well, we had a bottle, because we did have, we called it Snoop. It was just a expensive soapy water solution. And we would use it for things, usually gas cylinders. So we had argon fluoride lasers, and we had a bunch of gas cylinders in lab that would spring leaks on connections. So we had,
Nice.
We had a bottle of Snoop, and one of my colleagues had a leak in their ultra high vacuum chamber.
Oh, God.
And they sprayed Snoop on it. And so that's what we would call, I hate saying this because I tell my students all the time, there's no such thing as negative pressure, but it's a negative pressure differential. And so it sucks the soapy solution into this really, really, really expensive, hard to maintain,
Hard to clean. Well, you did just fill it with soap.
I honestly don't remember what came of it, so maybe it wasn't as bad. It was just one of those things that you saw it happening in real time, and you were, what is going on?
Oh my God.
What about you? What's the biggest thing you ever saw?
I mean, in terms of damaged equipment, vacuums are probably the most expensive thing. I mean, it just takes opening a chamber at the wrong time, where you just fill a high vacuum and just completely ruin it. Injuries. I've had 7 stitches from putting a glass tube through my finger.
Oh.
So that's...
I haven't had any injuries, but I did have one. So my PhD I did in Chicago, and it gets cold there, right, in the winter. And I had to change pump oil, and I can't remember. I did experiments in graduate school that involved chloroacetone, and then I did experiments that involved a couple of different sulfur compounds. And whichever way you slice it, those are all stinky, stinky things. So our pump oil would get really gross really, really quickly. And I went to clean it one day, and I forgot to vent the pump before I opened it. And so I had squatted down in front of the pump, and I unscrewed the cap, and all of that pump oil just shot straight out at me. And it wasn't hot. Like, thankfully it wasn't like, it was warm. It was not hot. And the buses weren't running, and I had to walk, the whole point about Chicago, I had to walk a mile and change home in drenched pump oil stained pants that were freezing by the time literally frozen by the time I got home. It was a mess. But I don't think, it was a lesson learned, right? That's sometimes, if nobody's injured, those mistakes can be.
I have one of those from undergrad. Like, our building was poorly designed, where the ventilation and the intake were such that, sometimes the wind would blow a certain direction. So we were working with thiols, making like quantum dots, and thiols went out through the hood, and we handled everything correctly. But the wind was blowing such that the thiol output from the exhaust went into the building intake. So the building got a thiol spray. It was very subtle. Like, it wasn't a lot of it, but it was enough to be like, is there a gas leak in the building?
Yeah.
So
this is not okay.
Evacuation, bring the fire department, like,
oh my
what
gosh.
is going on? Because, that's the right response. So thiol is an additive. Like, methane gas and propane don't have a smell. So they add this thiol mercaptan additive, so you smell it. So the rotten egg smell is an additive. And so, we were just pumping that through the building. And, evacuation. I mean, we didn't get in trouble or anything. We did everything right. It's just the exhaust system was just broken.
Why do they keep doing it every time? I keep thinking, there's no way it'll be in the middle again.
Can you keep track of them? I haven't been watching. Can you actually see the 3-card money, which way they go?
Oh, no, I didn't even. That's a good point.
I don't know. It could be just messing with you.
Yeah.
You're building up a collection, though. Pulling soap into a chamber, though. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Is that a junior student or a senior student?
Yes. I don't remember. They were my year. I don't remember at what stage.
It's like you could lose
senior.
months. You could lose months to something like that. Mm-hmm. Oof.
Yeah, we had to vent. So I started in 2006, and I probably joined the group, like actually active in research by early 2007, and I graduated in 2011. So what was my point to that? I would guess we were probably third year graduate students.
What is this thing?
I thought I could ride him, but it doesn't look like it, does it? Oh, I bet he's light, but what do I do with him? Oh, I have to carry him, I bet.
Yeah. Try the Y button. Yeah, there you go.
Well, that's not good. I feel like my youngest daughter screams that her hands are full. I can't hold this. My hands are full.
It's good to know your limits.
Yeah. Oh, man, in the car on the way home tonight, she was crying because she said that lion starts with C, and Adeline was telling her that it didn't, and she was saying, "You're wrong." And I was like, "She's not wrong. Lion starts with an L," and she was not having any of it. We were all out to get her.
That's a conspiracy.
Yeah, she was like beyond convinced. Should send her to a different school, probably.
That's awesome. I see Yoshi is treated like crap well into the 21st century. Absolutely. I don't know if you know about this, Bridget, but the speedrunning community has a save the animals or kill them, murder Yoshi or save Yoshi. There are strong opinions on both sides.
So what's your opinion? I like him. I think he's fun.
No, I think he's very useful. The question is, do you sacrifice him to save yourself?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, sure.
No question. I was going to defend the game, but Bridget just murdered him. Absolutely. Cuddle Puppy, welcome back. It's good to have you.
Oh, man.
Very strong opinions. In fact, the GDQ fundraiser, they'll have like a fundraising competition between murdering or saving the animals. It's pretty brutal. Follow up on the last one. What's the most expensive mistake?
So I had we had a lot of optics that would have to get cleaned occasionally. How do you clean optics in your lab?
We don't have to do, most of our optics are in chambers.
Okay. Well, we had like layers. So one of the first things you would do, we had a can of, it was compressed air. But you would get the particulate matter off with the compressed air. And then there were like procedures depending on what optic it was, for, like a solution to get some of the smudges off. And I was cleaning, it was brand new. And in my memory, I swear to you, this was a $10,000 optic. Maybe I'm misremembering it because it was so traumatic for me. But I took that can. Do you know what happens to compressed air cans when you hold them upside down?
No idea what.
The air gets really cold. And so I froze the mouth of this optic, the optic, and it cracked right down the middle.
It was $10,000?
It was expensive. It was really expensive. Yes. And it was brand new. It was brand new. I really don't. We had an excimer laser, so it was one of the, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the like super reflective mirrors that cap them.
Yeah. But and it was proprietary to the company too.
I mean, like I said, I just remember I was mortified.
Your boss said,
I don't remember that, so it couldn't have been that bad. That's the other thing.
You just went buried it in the backyard.
I'm sure I'm not that kind of person. But yeah, I can't think.
Why do they get really cold when you turn them upside down? The compressed air? It's got to be an expansion problem, right? How does that work?
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But you can. I mean, I promise you can go buy a can of compressed air.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, unless there are chambers. I don't know why it would be a.
I mean, it's liquid inside the chamber, right? What do they put inside those?
I don't know. I should have done my research on compressed air before telling you that.
No worries.
That's
Cuddle Puppy, the answer is we don't know. That is intriguing. I mean, any expansion will cool down the system, right?
But then, I mean, I just don't understand what turning it upside down would have to do with it, unless it's something about the mechanism, like the nozzle mechanism or something that it.
Mm-hmm. Cooling it down enough to crack it, though, that's a non-trivial temperature gradient.
I mean, you could spray it. You could see frost. I mean,
Yeah.
and I knew it happened. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't know it got cold. I didn't know it got cold enough to.
Do the math right now. Eugene demands it. See, this is why no one trusts scientists. If I could ask a chiropractor why compressed air cans get cold, they'd say because of toxins. That's true.
So this is something I promised to my students when I first started: is I will never bullshit. I will never tell you I know something if I don't. Better for worse.
Cuddle Puppy's upset you're not bullshitting.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely because of the gremlins they put in the compressed air. They get angry when you turn them
Gremlins
upside.
or unicorns?
I don't know.
I've heard both.
The difference, really.
Just making up answers here on Ask a Scientist Gaming. Ask a bullshitter. Man, I should have someone on and just pretend they're an expert at something and see how far they can bullshit. Like, Bridget DePrince knows music theory. PV equals NRT or something, something, something. T gets small when you squirt the liquid out. That sounds legit. T gets small.
Are the girls in bed yet, Eugene?
It's true. He's just taking a break. It's way easier if you just exhaust them and they fall asleep on their own.
So Olivia will call you on that. Just saying.
As in, she knows when it's time.
She'll stay in her. I mean, to her credit, she stays in her room, but she'll stay up till. I mean, the other night I went to bed at 11:15 and she was still talking to somebody.
Wow, that's crazy. And she naps during the day. That's the problem.
But she insists, like both of them still. Adeline's almost 5, and they both insist on. If I like the couple of times Adeline especially, I should say, but I've tried to not get her to take a nap. She makes it till like 4 o'clock, and then she falls asleep like eating a sandwich.
That's pretty amazing.
Okay, all right. What am I gonna do?
I think you got to time up that walk.
I think I just need to wait for these guys to move.
They're taking their sweet time.
They really are.
So are you having fun playing this again? Or is this
So
just
fun.
frustrating?
It's a little embarrassing, I would say, is the emotion. I'm having fun. I don't want
Me. Having to do it on stream is non-trivial.
to. I kind of forgot we're doing that.
That's what it's supposed to be. It's a casual conversation with video game. Maybe some science in the way. PV equals NRT or something something.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't teach Gen Chem 1.
You don't think you will ever?
I probably will eventually, but it's hard to make a lot of that stuff
So I'm
interesting.
pretty excited about the spring. I don't want to go on record with it, but I'm going to do some big changes, make it more fun for me.
Yeah.
So that's really all that matters, right?
At this point, yes. There's nothing we do matters. No, I'm excited to do the shift in Gen Chem too.
Yeah.
I think it's be fun to actually ask questions.
Yeah, I'm working with some LAs, and I'm hoping they can help me get design some content for.
That's true. LA's use them to generate content.
Yeah.
That is a good
And
idea.
I know them this time. Last time I used them, I really didn't know any of them.
Uh-huh.
So I already know what they're capable of, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Just crushing some dry bones.
Okay, so then we're gonna do. Okay, finally, what'd that take? 14 times? And there's not even a flag up here to keep me from doing it again. I don't have a plan.
Probably a turn thing to
There.
the left. Yeah. The turning mechanism's fun.
Whew, I'm gonna have crampy hands tomorrow.
Oh,
Holding
no,
the remotes.
This is an endurance run. You're only 1 hour in, by the way.
Okay.
It's 1/3.
What am I doing? Come on.
I'll get to the Nintendo controller and get
plan.
really crippled.
What's my plan? Oh, I thought I had it.
All right, so I'm going to ask another question. Well, two different questions. What's your biggest pet peeve in the field in general? We'll say gas phase spectroscopy. And then we'll do what's your biggest pet peeve in education in undergrad?
So I think the biggest pet peeve in gas phase spectroscopy would be, especially when I was applying for jobs, I was told a lot that it was not sexy enough because it is so much of it's almost like an analytical chemistry thing where it's you are the technique, and like I said at the start here, like the application is sometimes secondary. So I'm one of these science for the sake of science, right? Anytime we can learn something, even if we don't know, I mean, this is an extreme, but even if we don't know why it would be useful, right? Anytime we can learn something is a good thing. So just the lack of credit, I think that maybe it, at least in my perception, gets.
I mean, it's definitely a longer term lens to think about research.
Yeah.
Like I learned recently, the ARO is moving from a 6.1 to a 6.3 model, which is their classification of level of basic versus applied. And they're shifting heavily to the applied end of things.
Yeah.
And further away from the basic.
Yeah.
And it's
And I just think there needs to be some of both, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's true of anything. What am I going to do here? That's not going to work. We need a different strategy. Let's see if I can go down any of these. Oh. Well, there you go.
Who knew that was going to work? That was amazing. All right, so what's your pet peeve in we'll say teaching and or teaching in general? Your teaching or teaching in general?
What do you mean by pet peeve? I think I don't know if I have an answer for that. I think one thing is the us versus them mentality that I think we foster a little bit, whether we intend to or not, with the idea of curves and grading everybody based on everybody else, and just the fact that I don't know if I have to, but I tell students all the time that I'm on their team, right? And I do want them to be successful. So maybe just that sort of
the us versus them
environment, the feeling, right? And I think this has been going on since Plato and Aristotle, but just it seems like it gets harder and harder as we get older and older to remember what it was like. Number one, to be a student, and number two, to acknowledge the different world that the students we have grew up in terms of technology. And not that I grew up in the Stone Ages, but they're just that's a pet peeve. But
Well, there's always a claim that this generation is getting worse. And
Yeah. That they're lazy,
like,
or and that is something that I understand the origin of it, but it's frustrating to hear, and it's frustrating to not know what to do about it, and or to feel ill-equipped to be able to do anything about it.
This little challenge room. What's this?
I don't know what it is.
Huh.
Oh, I think I need to go down there. Nope.
You might just have to kill him.
Oh yeah, I remember this. If you kill him, you just get something.
Perfect.
You get a star.
In my opinion, the generation that was born from 2460 to 2440 BC was the laziest generation and had the worst music.
There you go.
Your opinion is equally as valid as everyone else's on the subject matter. I was looking at their rocks, having a good time. The music was the worst. You had to dig it in with the laziest and worst music. Throw down. How did they even entertain themselves? They had the worst toys? Probably. Toy technology has come a long way since we were kids. I don't know if you noticed that. Like in terms of the complexity and the composition and... Oh my God.
A lot of plastic, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's true. Never-ending plastic.
What am I supposed to do with them? Pick them up and throw them? What's my goal here? Am I trying to get them in their line? Yeah, okay.
What are you doing? Sorting
I'm trying
them?
to get them to stand in front of their little color. I don't know why.
You did it. You matched colors.
Woo!
That's amazing.
Kindergarten passed.
I'd say my pet peeve in education is, I think it's just how strongly opinionated people are about their teaching methods with no evidence to support it one way or the other.
That's the function of the system, because none of us have any training
exactly.
in education.
Yeah, but it's breathtaking to me that people will go like, we'll spend hours debating where an electron is. But when we have a, pedagogical decision that affects 1,000 students, it's just like, I feel this is right,
Yeah.
It's just to contrast it with what we usually do is pretty breathtaking. I've never seen those guys before. What are those things?
I don't know. They vomit up these things.
The 2460 BC generation. Lazy bastards.
No! Oh gosh.
We'll take it. Checkpoint. Man, the other pet peeve Bridget and I have spent a lot of time talking about education and classroom decisions and things. Oh, trigger. Oh.
Trigger. That's the one.
That's the one that gets you up. Yep. Oh. But the other one is like, why do we teach this? Because we're going to test on it. Why do we test on it? Because we teach it. It's like, reflect on why we cover the things we cover and whether it should be covered is something that I don't think we spend a lot of time thinking about.
Okay, Eugene would say I'm cheating.
That's what it's for. Like, literally, you earned all those.
Yeah, and I think like it's hard to, and I mean this is the nature of it, but we want to. Science is a creative process, right? I mean, we don't teach it that way, but it's a creative process, and it requires creative thought, and then we teach. Where we want to teach things that students expect to see so they can, replicate it or show us they've learned it. But then you are, are you doing more harm than good, right? It's complicated.
I mean, most of what we do is just driven by history and attrition. And the difficulty in trying to change
that
anything.
age-old thing that we were successful in that.
Yeah.
I mean, by our own metrics, we were successful in that classroom model. Therefore, it works.
Yep. Spoilers, it doesn't. I guess it works for some. People like us that are successful.
I mean,
within that
Eugene and
framework.
I were talking about this the other day. Just the mentality. I mean, I so wish I could go back to school and redo it because I was a good student, but I was in there. I mean, I didn't like. I had other classes to go to, and I had a job to get to. Right? It wasn't this like we think that they're all. I was doing it again. I mean, I myself sometimes I find myself getting frustrated that why don't they just want to learn it, right? Why don't they just want to know what I want to know? But they're busy, right?
Yeah.
And there's something like we have the luxury in.
Shortcut.
I know, right? Just to get it shot at my own head.
Worth it. Shell's doing some work.
I know.
Well
I
done.
need something. Oh, why not? So this was another when I played the game in graduate school, and then when I was pregnant, I would play to get all of the. I didn't care about anything but getting all of those coins, the big coins.
The three.
So
Yeah.
I would get all of them, and I would cheat sometimes, and I would look at the internet to see where they were, because some of them are hidden, and Eugene would tell me I was cheating.
Oh, Eugene.
Oh, pow. Oh, it doesn't kill him?
Nope. Not if he's on the ground.
Oh, good point.
This freezing thing, I've never played with this before.
I knew that was gonna happen. Oh, I don't want to go down that. Let's see what's down here.
I didn't see it. How do you tell when there's an opening there?
You can't always tell, but sometimes you can. Sometimes it just looks like it's kind of got an indent. Can I have another one?
Yes.
I don't care.
Grapefruit, ranch water.
Yeah, I like grapefruit.
Capo Pico. I'm mango.
I like grapefruit. Yes, please.
We got one more on the fridge. These are pretty light. I do like the light nature of the seltzers. Sorcerer Juan, thank you for the follow. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions for Dr. Bridget DePrince, she's happy to answer them. She's an expert in gas phase molecular dynamics and can discuss the implications of that in atmospheric and astrochemistry, as well as wow, getting smushed
Right.
in the tiniest hole possible. But yeah, thank you for the follow. If you have questions, throw them in chat. I think I got to check the number. Nice to meet you, Sorcerer. I think you are our 499th follower. We are one follower away from 500. So if somebody's not
Quick, get me my phone.
Oh, you're following us, aren't
am
you?
I?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
okay.
probably. I'd assume you are.
I think I followed you one time, but then I think I might have. I maybe just silenced the emails. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no worries. I
But I guess I didn't have to unfollow you to do that.
How you guys doing? We're doing okay.
I'm doing okay.
So if this is your first time on the stream, Ask a Scientist Gaming, where we have mediocre gameplay and expert science. Every other Wednesday night, I have an expert guest, a scientist on, who's going to talk about their expertise while playing their favorite video games. So yeah, today we have Dr. Bridget DePrince, who's playing New Super Mario Brothers for the first time in 5 years, while talking about everything from context-based learning and pedagogical decisions to gas phase molecular dynamics. Yeah, we're happy to talk all things. Say you're an expert in physical chemistry, broadly.
Yeah, broadly.
So yeah, any questions you have. You should have me as a guest so you can have expert gameplay and mediocre science. That's true, Cuddle Puppy. I hadn't considered that route. If you were in Tallahassee, I'd be happy to have you on as a guest, but man, it's such a pain in the ass to do remote streams. I don't know if you remember when we were setting that up with Eugene. It was terrible.
I mean, vaguely.
Yeah.
I tuned a lot of the last, like a lot of people, I think, tuned a lot of the last, you know.
So Ken, do you consider yourself more physicist or chemical? I'm a chemist. I've transitioned to physical chemistry territory. So believe it or not, I was hired in the department under, I guess, materials and energy research. So much more material science type lean to it. I think in the department I was adopted as an inorganic chemist because of who I worked for previously, but I mostly publish and review for physical chemistry journals, which is kind of surprising. I didn't expect going that route, but I do a lot of excited state spectroscopy and things like that. A lot of nano and femtosecond measurements. So yeah.
Nope.
We could call me a photophysical chemist, then we get both buzzwords in there.
That wasn't what
Have you been to the laser lab recently?
Nope.
Oh man, you should. Like you of all
My
people would appreciate
campus
it.
life is just, I go to Ditmer and there's nobody there. Almost made it.
So you're waiting on renovations for moving
I
over
don't
to
know what I'm
CSL?
waiting on. I don't see anybody. I don't know.
Dejected.
I mean, it's just, I told you,
Over.
it's just, I miss running into people in the hallway and
Oh.
having like impromptu. I do talk to Goldsby a lot. But other than that, that's it.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's going to be May when he's gone, right? That he's
Yeah.
officially done in May.
Yeah,
I'm going to miss Goldsby.
yeah.
Ken, do you consider yourself more a mediocre gamer or an expert scientist?
Nice.
That's a good question. I was thinking about this today when I was giving a talk, not the mediocre gameplay and whatnot, but like in terms of my expert science, right? And so I've published, it's something like 110 papers or something like that, been cited thousands of times. But arguably my bigger impact on the scientific community has been like blog posts and YouTube videos, right? Like my blog post, the Get a Job Ken, has impacted more people than my papers ever will. And so like, is my science going to change the world? Maybe if I'm lucky, but in all likelihood, probably not.
Why did I not check?
Smushed. So maybe I'm a mediocre scientist, but occasional expert gaming. Bridget, are you theoretical or an experimental physicist?
I am an experimental. I dabbled in some calculations, which my husband, who is a theoretical chemist, would tell you is not the same thing as theoretical chemistry. But
He would distinguish between computational chemistry and theoretical chemistry.
what's funny is I went, so the reason I chose to go to graduate school at University of Chicago was because of David Mazziotti, who my husband got his PhD with. But when I got there, this is another story for the young ones, right? That life doesn't always turn out. I just didn't, for reasons I'm not sure I could articulate, I just didn't think that group would be a good fit for me. And so I joined so I did my PhD with Lori Butler. And I joined that lab because they had a lot of theoretical calculations as part of their experimental methods or hypotheses, I guess. So I felt at the time like it was a mix of both. But in reality, I just used computational tools.
Yeah, so anyone not familiar with the distinction between theoretician and computational chemist is a computational chemist uses basically theoretical tools that already exist and uses those as applied to specific problems or whatever it might be. A theoretician would actually develop that software or theory behind those calculations. And so I think it's a reasonable distinction to make. It's important.
To me, it's almost the same as analytical and physical. Like an analytical chemist develops or uses the tools of physical chemistry to analyze, dare I say something, right? It has that sort of give and take to it.
Well, welcome back to the stream. Ken, how was the conference? Any highlights? Yeah, it was a fun meeting. It was great seeing people. So last week I was in Milan, Italy for the International Conference on Photon Fusion and Singlet Fission. So it's a relatively specific conference, the same group of 60 to 100 people every time they have it. But it was awesome to see people I hadn't in a while. So that was really fun. It was also in Milan, Italy. And so, yeah. Well, this is just survival.
I mean,
But yeah, one of the highlights of the conference is I threatened to get in a fight with Mark Baldo from MIT about the definition of upconversion quantum yield. We actually wrote a perspective fairly recently advocating for standardized nomenclature. And so before I presented, he was actually, if you're one of those purists that defines it this way, and it was, he started the fight and that I countered with my point. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, that was fun. And I mean, I don't know. It sounds petty or first world problem to complain about this, but when you like go to an international conference, really that conference could be anywhere, right? Because it's the same group of people and you're in a conference hall talking science and English. Your real highlights of travel are basically, you know, the airport, traveling in, the hotel differences, and then like the food that you have at night. But I will say one fun highlight, I did not expect this, but I had an extra night there because I couldn't leave until the next morning. And so my Thursday night in Milan, I was like looking for like what shows are going on. And they had the Rocky Horror Picture Show play was playing that night. And so I went to it. I'd never been to the play before. And it was excellent. Like, it was a really good production. It was like the original West End plus some upgrades and things like that. But the singing was great. The music was great. It was in English, so I got to understand all of it. I didn't know going into it whether it would be entirely Italian or not. But no, that was a lot of fun. Surprise Rocky Horror Picture Show or Rocky Horror play, which was kind of fun.
A lot of those international conferences will include like, they'll do talks into the night, but the payoff is you get a break during the day to do, you know, an outing, go hiking or something. Probably not hiking in Milan, but
yeah,
I can never. Oof. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was cozy.
That was not
it's a little
good.
chin music. No, for them, they stopped the conference early, so we had like a speaker dinner, which was kind of fun. Then yeah, at night we basically got to do whatever we want, which meant we ended up hanging out with the same group. But yeah, no, I'm super happy. My random highlight is seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
Because I messaged Debbie, I'm like, I saw an ad for it on the train. Should I do it? She's like, yeah, why not? What's the worst that happens? So yeah, it's pretty fun. Sorcerer Juan, gotcha. I gotta confess that I was more in love with theoretical physics than experimental physics, specifically things like mathematical physics, which is basically theoretical physics but with mathematical rigors, with a mathematical rigorous of maths. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's again, what level of abstraction? Was the crowd as rowdy as the Rocky Horror midnight screening? Not quite as much. Like they had some of the cues down. Like Bridget, I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with the Rocky Horror Picture Show and like the cultural icon?
Oh man, no.
It was like, it started as a play in West End London, and then it became a movie, which Tim Curry is the star of that. You might have seen the movie at some point, but it became this like cult following where people would show up to the screenings of the movie and like act out the scenes, and you yell certain things at certain points, and it's like, it's an immersive experience. And so they were into it. They knew when to say certain things, but it was only like a fraction of the crowd. Whereas I've been to one in the U.S. where everyone in the crowd knew. Oh, telling you what to do.
Mind your business.
But they sold this prop kit that you could buy with your ticket. That was basically like the newspaper thing, and then the cards that you can throw and the confetti for the wedding and stuff. So yeah. Cuddle Puppy. There needs to be The Room, the musical. Oh my God. Have you seen The Room?
Yeah, I think so. Have you seen Smile yet?
No, I haven't. We have to go. It's in theaters, right?
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gone next Monday through Wednesday, but we haven't gone to a scary movie in 4 years, 5 years. It's been a long time. You definitely have not seen The Room. He says Eugene.
He says I haven't?
It's really, really bad. Tommy Wiseau, I think his name was. He basically self-funded a movie that yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. Yes. If you don't remember I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. If you don't remember that line.
No, I didn't see this one.
Oh, it's terrible. Eugene, you should show it to Bridget. I don't know where you find it, but you should definitely do it because it is one of the worst movies of all time.
But is it scary? It's not scary?
No. It's just an absurdly bad. I'd say borderline, like, I don't say it was softcore porn, but it's like the director lived out his own fantasies on camera. It's weird. It's really, really bad. But anyway, we've gone down the movie detour, which means I have to ask my favorite question.
Oh.
which I ask every single guest. In terms of, you've seen a lot of movies and TV shows. What gets your expertise or your scientific interest right, and what gets it wrong? What movie did you see that you're like, yes, they did it, and which one was cringy beyond belief?
I think so. There was the, and again, I'm not an astronomer, but just the gas phase sort of environments. What was the George Clooney movie with? Was it Gravity?
Yeah.
I thought they did a pretty good job in terms of the sound thing. And The Martian, I think, was pretty good. Interstellar.
Did you read the book, Martian?
Oh, yeah. So I read the book. I can't remember who turned me on to it, but I liked it so much that I bought copies for like all of our immediate family members and sent it to them.
That's fun.
I really thought it was good.
Did they read it?
I think so. I don't know. And definitely, I mean, I think Big Bang Theory does okay. I really do. In terms of, I mean, it's not my field, but our field as chemists, I despise all of the CSI, plug something into a machine and know in seconds whose blood it is, when in reality those things would take how long?
Yeah, exactly. Give you ambiguous answers and...
Nope. Oh my god, I'm gonna die on this.
No worries, it's a hard level.
It's not. It shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah, I don't hate Big Bang Theory for the like.
Oh, you hate it for the stereotype.
Yeah. Well, not just the stereotype. There's a very embedded. The summary was called "It's Adorkable Misogyny." How he can get away with overt sexism and it's just laughed off because he's incompetent socially, which is problematic for different reasons. Bazinga, yes, exactly. There's a JCP poster in the cafeteria, Journal of Chemical Physics. Yes.
Yeah, one of the editors was an expert. What's it called? Like, you bring an expert in to verify.
Reviewer?
No, for the show. Like, it was like a
consultant.
Consultant, yeah. I'm trying to think.
Does JCP even do cover art? Because they don't have.
They
POC
didn't. They
images.
didn't when I haven't published in a long time, but they didn't.
Yeah. Eugene, back to The Martian. They really got the poop potato farming part of being a chemistry professor right. Eugene, do you have a poop farm?
Well, it was just there was a thing about like using a Sharpie on Mars. Like there was a lot of stuff that was like,
There's iridium catalyzed the hydrogen generation. What was it? I don't remember the reaction.
No. Oh no.
You're good.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Cuddle Puppy, my dad was making fun of the Martian earlier today. He's a professor of genetics at UGA.
What was he making fun of?
That's a good question. What were the genetics problems in that? Or biology related things? I'm curious what they got wrong.
Now I'm just gonna get killed by this guy.
I mean, you have the freeze power.
Does it work for that guy? I just gave it up.
I have no idea. I've never played this before, so take anything I say with a grain of salt. Also, we're an hour and a half in. You can change games if you want, or take this one on. It's totally up to you.
Well, I look like an expert on this compared to what I'm going to look like on the other ones.
Dr. Mario. That was pretty innocuous.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
It's up to you. Whatever you were going to have fun playing is what we're going to go for.
Okay. Give me a little bit more time with this one.
Yeah, anyone just joining us, Ask a Scientist Game, mediocre gameplay, expert science. The guest today is Dr. Bridget DePrince, expert physical
right
chemistry and molecular
Sorry.
dynamics, gas phase spectroscopy, as well as talking about things like context-based learning and how you assess chemistry classes and teach them. Yeah, she's playing a little bit of New Super Mario Brothers, so if you have any questions about that, She is happy to answer them. Feel free to
Oh,
throw
no,
it in
no,
the
no,
chat.
no, 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 no.
Also, if anyone's not following, click the follow button. You will be officially be our 500th follower. So anyone that's not following, click
pressure.
follow. We will break that boundary. Turns out Eugene's not been following this entire time. You did it?
Sorry.
All right, Cuddle Puppy. Making fun of how the sun is so distant there that photosynthesis would be useless. And that they form, for some reason, stay on the surface with all the storms instead of digging underground. Would the sun be useless? It can't be that. I guess how much farther is that? I'd have to do the math on that.
The atmosphere's a lot thinner too. I don't know.
I mean, there still has to be some useful number of photons there. Okay, how do you get a shovel on Mars? So unrealistic.
So this is something I am like truly fascinated by is the engineers who decide what to put on the rovers and what to put on the. You have to have a lot of foresight, right, and forethought.
Or
put a shovel.
Or confidence. All you need is confidence.
A lot of potatoes, whatever. Like, oh, and he grew the potatoes, I guess. But anyway, it's just.
But speaking of Mars, we have a prediction related to Mars, so you guys should get your standard internet units ready. It is time to answer another prediction question. Just directly related to Mars, and I don't know if this was covered in The Martian or not, but we are going to throw this one up there. You guys are going to have 2 minutes to answer this question. If you're not following, click the follow button, get your standard internet units. You're under Ask a Scientist Gaming honor code, so answer the question based on your knowledge or expertise or pure guessing. It is totally up to you. The prediction is up right now. The question is, liquid water has been found on Mars. True or false? Have we found liquid water on Mars? In any of the recent probes or spectroscopically, I guess we might be able to see. Can we determine liquid versus? I guess we could, depending on the measurement.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question is, have we found liquid water on Mars? True or false? And we're not talking about science fiction, The Martian. We're talking about, in reality, scientists measuring. We got some big bettors here throwing up the big dollars.
But don't you hate when that happens? The vine went into the ground.
Oh.
So this is definitely not from the Wii version, by the way. So there.
So this is a new one. All right, if you guys haven't done predictions before, at the top of the chat, you'll see a predict button. Click that predict button. You're allowed to gamble as many points as you... Ooh, wow, that one threw you off real hard. So throw your prediction in there now. Have we found liquid water on Mars? True or false? So you keep up with the astrochemistry?
Some of it, yeah. It's really interesting.
I try to keep up with science news, but it's easy to get cynical and jaded with how it's reported.
Yeah. I definitely, so I used to try really, really, really hard. I took a line from our colleague Ken Goldsby. I tried really hard to be clever with exam questions and
Yeah.
so I was doing more of like popular science reviews is probably a strong word. But I still,
Yeah,
I dabble.
I completely abandoned that strategy on my test questions.
Oh yeah, I have to. But that's what I want to adopt more in class is like the effort that I would put in to make an interesting exam question, putting it into.
All right, Bridget, liquid water has been found on Mars. What is the answer?
Not
Is it
to
true or
date.
false?
Not
False.
to date.
So we have found water, but it's frozen.
Ice water, yeah, and there's evidence of super, super, super salty rivers, but that's not pure water, and it's just evidence. So they have what they call them a slope lineae. I don't know how you say it, but they think it's perchlorate salts. So it's a fun freezing point depression kind of idea that the salts could have allowed for the what am I doing?
So hold
Okay,
jump
jump.
and hold the button after you jump, and you can get
Whoa,
sailing
okay.
pretty far.
And then the click too. Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Eugene, this is such baloney. There was the perchlorate paper. How does that not count?
That's what I just said. So I talk about this a lot, maybe,
I see.
is what I'm hearing.
But he apparently lost this one. He said true.
If he said true, there's evidence of there used to be. So they think there used to be liquid water, but that it disappeared. Oh no, that's not good. Billions of years ago with nothing good.
Survival. We'll count survival as
All right,
good.
stars are gonna get me.
So congratulations to everyone that took totally not Eugene's points. 3 Sharon 3. Congratulations. Let's go. Congratulations on that victory. It's the little wins. How fun would it be to give an exam where students could bet points? Like, how confident are you in the answer?
And I love the idea of group exams. All kinds of stuff would be so fun in a perfect world.
Man, if I was good enough, I would love to do a open internet exam. Like, because that's the skill set they need, right?
Yeah,
This on
absolutely.
an island.
Yeah.
Like, one of our colleagues doesn't give our students equations or constants.
Well, that was one thing I really did like about the online exams. I had time constraints, so it probably wasn't a good idea to scour the internet. And I had rules about using Chegg, things like that. But if you want to Google how to convert nanometers to picometers, go for it.
I mean, who cares? It's not a skill set anymore, right? Or the skill set has changed.
It has changed, and I think that's just like
Reality.
reality, and it's a hard one to stomach. I understand that. I think for some of us it feels like a rite of passage, but just again, I'm not gonna. Oh no, this is it. I'm done. I'm done.
I mean, you
This
got to
whole
save recently.
kids these days thing, but literally kids these days have been able to Siri translate or convert. The calculators can do it for you. Did you know that? You can like do inches to centimeters on your calculator.
Any of the TI calculators would do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I understand from a purist perspective. On one hand, that's a shame, right? You're stranded on a desert island.
I mean,
But again, I want to just point out it's an undergraduate course too, right?
but even requiring graduate students to do that it's like prioritizing a skill that
Absolutely.
isn't necessary anymore.
And like how much more you could do if
Yeah.
I'm saying absolutely, but I get the other side too. It's a hard thing to stomach, I guess.
I mean, there has to be a balance between the
Sure.
purists and
It's sort of like this idea, but I like the idea on exams of they bring their own cheat sheets. It's like an analog Google, right? Like some limits, but you don't have to memorize everything.
my strategy now, I've completely leaned away from the math to only have equations to like think about relationships between variables.
And I mean, they don't like it.
Yeah.
I hope nobody's on here. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I gave an exam today, and I overheard some students after the fact saying how much harder it was than they thought it would be. I'm gonna die trying to get that.
Your
Called
prediction.
And I like that was harder because there was no math, but I had the math problems on there just in word form. Like, what happens if this gets bigger?
Yeah. It's one of those you want to believe those are easier, but they're not.
Yeah.
Because you can't plug and chug. Now I'm doing the same thing, like equilibrium and rate constants. If this goes up, how would you change this? Blah, blah, blah. Sharon, my precious TI-84 plus CE, I named her Marla.
My TI-84 from high school died, and rest in peace in the last 6 months. I graduated high school in 2002, so I've probably had that thing for 24 years,
Yeah.
and it just went kaputs.
I still have my TI-85 from senior year of high school or freshman year of college. But like I looked up how to purchase a new one, and they don't sell 85s anymore.
Well, that's Eugene gave me his, and I can't. It's so funny. I just can't use it. My muscle memory lives with I don't know what his is, but it's not what I had, and so I can't. Like the parentheses is in a different spot, and it just is so awkward.
Yeah, like you might be able to find one on eBay or something, like a third party selling it. His
I've
is a
just started.
TI-89 is what he just said.
Okay. Too fancy for my blood.
Eugene is so pissed. Here's a question, scientist. Is the ocean made of water or is it too salty?
I hear you.
It's solute versus solvent. I mean, those perchlorates, it's like a...
But it was like super, super briny, and it was not... My point is it was evidence of it. It was a theory to what these things were. They don't have any proof that it's water.
Yeah.
No liquid water has been found.
And you are going to hear about this tonight and for the next, like, 3 weeks of your life.
Between you and me and the internet, I don't really care. Until my kids go to bed. Are they in bed yet? By the way...
Until Elon goes there and drinks a glass of water, there is no water on Mars. And yes, your kids are to bed. Cuddle Puppy asks, what TI are the darn kids using these days?
The Google.
And which was it was TI like 91 that had like a keyboard, right? It was like a full horizontal, full blown. That was like the really advanced one when we were in undergrad.
I've been trying to encourage my students to just use wolframalpha.com.
Yeah. What if they're on a desert island, Bridget? Mm-hmm. What are they going to do?
I mean, like I said, it's hard because I would be lying if I said I don't agree with some of that logic. But
I mean, but when do you need that?
This like I'm teaching, for example, 3120 right now. There's a whole lot of, and I understand that a lot of this is going to sound like teaching for the sake of I want that flower actually, but there's a lot of approximations for how you calculate, like how you would calculate the pH of a buffer or whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. And the derivations are the fun part, right? Doing the silly math is not the interesting stuff. It's the derivations of...
Your definition of fun and my definition of
fun. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I meant. That's what I meant, though. Like, it's that... Yeah. It's that... like, I really do think that I err on the side of...
Look at that veteran move.
I lost my train of thought because you complimented my game skill.
Flustered.
Wasn't expecting that. I do err on the side of, like, okay, let's start from scratch. What can we say? Like, what are the initial spherical cow assumptions we can make about the problem? And then where do we go from there? And I, like, to me, that's interesting. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I'll never be like a true physical chemist because I don't think about the world in that way. Like I'm a creative tinkerer where I put things together in unique ways and measure them, but that's a level of, like, I'll never derive a new relationship of any kind. Okay, I should go back to studying for Friday's exam. Also, I want to say that Ashley is my recitation TA, and I love her so much. Shout out to Ashley.
Good job, that's Ashley.
Awesome. Absolutely. Sharon, any parting questions for the exam on Friday?
So you're one of his students, Sharon?
That is what has been revealed. For Friday's exam, I'm going to assume that's mine. Any questions about kinetics or equilibria that you want Bridget to answer?
Just send me an email. I'll send you the secrets.
She'll send it. That's
a joke, by the way. I would never. Oh, man.
Just go on Chegg. Actually, they don't have my exams. I've been very meticulous in not giving digital copies that can easily be transposed.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah.
That's a joke.
I think my recitation stuff has gone up on there, but I don't know. Do you check anymore? Do you go on?
My heart has been broken so many times. I just don't even want to know.
Like by major pieces of content on there, or
so I had I think it was last spring. I had a quiz that was completely copy and pasted, and it's one of those things that once you know to think about it and look for it, it makes your life so miserable.
Yeah.
But no, I don't look, but I will say that it's conscious ignorance is bliss thing.
Yeah.
I don't pretend that it's not on there. No. I need ice.
So dejected. That death was too much.
I need a penguin suit or something. They don't have penguin suit. They have penguins, but not a penguin suit.
I have not seen the penguin suit. What does that do?
You get to like slide around on stuff. You can take out 80 penguins in one slide.
Maybe they're hidden, or maybe they don't exist in this version.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Probably just.
All right, it's 9:44. We should do another prediction. Which one do you want to do? Should we do Titan?
Sure.
Oh man, Gene, are you ready to be angry
ready?
for some arbitrary reason? I mean, for the perchlorates, the concentration of salt is so high. What is the solvent and what is the solute?
Sure. But it's also, I just wanted to note, it was stripy things on the ground. There was no water found. There were stripy things on the ground that they think could have been groundwater.
Yeah.
I'm regretting asking.
What year was the paper? He's gonna look it up.
It's pretty recent. I would say 20.
Yeah, just look up perchlorates in Mars. I think
it was
you'll
a
find
Nature paper, I think.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do another prediction, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not following, click the follow button, get your 300 standard internet units. We're going to do another prediction, another science question. Bridget wants you to know, or wants you to answer, liquid oceans have been found on Titan. This is the moon Titan. What is the sun? It's Jupiter?
Saturn, I think.
Saturn, moon, Titan have
Fun
liquid
fact,
oceans
Saturn
been
has
found?
do you know how many moons Saturn has?
Yeah, a lot. And a ring. It's crazy.
A few rings, I think.
Yeah, liquid oceans have been found on the moon Titan. Is that true or is that false? Bet your internet points now. Eugene is just brooding, looking for that paper.
You have my computer. It's probably just on there.
That's a fun one. All right, liquid oceans have been found on Titan. Oh, did you just try to link someone? Message me the paper. Yeah, we don't let Eugene post the links in chat. Who knows what he's going to put. Cuddle Puppy just games the predictions.
I remember
wow.
this world. I do not like this world.
They don't hurt you though.
Well, they will
fall on you.
if they fall on you. So you have to be patient, and I think they tip over eventually. It's okay. It's okay. No need to panic.
It's gonna be okay.
It's not gonna be okay.
But you're having fun.
No longer okay.
You're having fun.
And once they fall, but they can block your path. Also, I'm not sure how they work.
Eugene emailed me the link.
Nice.
All right. I'll find it.
I think they like melt with
double
the body
check.
heat. Mario must be super hot.
All right. Real-time science paper.
I mean, what's your goal, Eugene? Like, seriously.
To get his standard internet unit back.
What's your goal?
All right, here's the paper for anyone that's interested. There it is, the science paper regarding radar evidence for subglacial liquid water on Mars.
That's not the paper I'm talking about. What's that one? When's that one from? 2018.
Low frequency radar contains evidence of liquid water trapped below the ice.
Evidence of liquid water trapped below the ice. It is. Cool.
Eugene wants his points so bad.
Fine, give him his point.
I can't. I can put a question up. Is Eugene right? And Eugene says yes, and everyone says no. But no, it is a different paper. All right, so the prediction is done. Liquid oceans have been found on Titan. Bridget, is that true or is that false?
It is true, but they're not water oceans.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Liquid oceans.
Yeah.
So the answer is true. What liquid is it?
Thought to be methane or some other hydrocarbon. So I can't remember what the numbers are, but the liquid water would never exist at the atmospheric pressures and temperatures of Titan.
Yeah.
So it has to be something with Sharon left. Are you doing intermolecular forces on this exam? It has to be something with weaker intermolecular forces.
No,
So
that
it
was
was thought to
exam
be
one.
hydrocarbons, so
Yeah.
like small hydrocarbons.
My heart just because I thought you were gonna say liquid meth. My heart
No.
just jumped.
But do you know that there are, I can't remember what planet, but there, like, a lot of the planets they like rain diamonds, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so
For that, it's like
crazy.
vapor deposition of diamonds.
Yeah,
or
and
vapor
iron,
condensation.
like, ooh. It's just bonkers.
Yeah, that's a different. Well, like you were talking about, the environment is very different.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The pressure, the temperature.
And something that's easy to take for granted. Like, we know what's stable here. We know it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, I mean, I think we know. We have an appreciation for.
That's one of the things I always had an issue with.
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
like assumptions about what life is, right? You have the sci-fi writers talking about silicon-based life.
Yeah.
And maybe there are fundamental limits on how life can exist, but like the phase diagram is so different in those
Yeah.
environments.
Like, what would it even be?
Yeah, exactly.
Would it be something we would recognize?
What's
Yeah.
allowable? What even defines it?
This is not, this might do me in.
Don't tell De Beers because they'll annex those planets. Absolutely. Except totally not Eugene, just called dibs on diamond raining planets.
They call dibs on.
He's
What?
He's gonna mine the diamond raining planets. You have a long-term
With your
investment
computer?
strategy.
Yeah. What tools do you plan to use to do this?
All of them. He's got a plan. You can't argue with that. I like it. All right, we should get back to one of our science questions. What was the most memorable, impactful moment of your career? Like, we frame it another way. What was your, like, I made it, or I'm not an imposter? Like, what was
I'm not
the
there.
was there a
I'm not there.
self-affirming?
I think probably the interview. So I interviewed for a lot of my quote unquote dream jobs, and I got some offers. That was
Yeah.
but we came here, which I'm happy. But that was probably just some validation that I could do it.
And being on the other side of hiring now, it's a miracle any of us got hired.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell does any of this work? Mm-hmm. No, I can agree with that.
But yeah, I still have that. I don't know if it's so much an imposter syndrome, but I definitely have a, like, I don't know what the right way to say it is. I can't do this level.
Sniped.
Yeah, I can't do this level. Oh, has it done that music yet for me?
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't have a good answer for that.
No worries. And we don't have to answer everything. We're not.
I do very distinctly remember, like, second or third year graduate school having, like, my first idea. You know, like, you
that's
were
fun.
kind of following your PI's advice, and then, like, what if we tried this instead?
No, that's one of the major thresholds I like to see in students. It's usually like, it's the third year before that really happens, or something like that. Before
There's
you
such a learning curve for any lab.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, learning the language and just how to run stuff is years of work. But to come up with a unique idea, I wish I could, like, codify that or formalize it in some kind of achievement hunting in lab.
Yeah.
But it's
How
hard.
big is your group right now?
So I have 6 grad students.
Right.
2 undergrads? Yeah, 2 undergrads.
Who are your undergraduates now? You don't need to tell me that. Tell me later. You don't
Yeah.
have to tell me on the end.
Exactly. Won't get them doxxed or anything like that. But
You just had such a great track record with undergraduate research.
I get lucky with several undergrads. Unique idea challenge coin? Absolutely. Like, let's just make a World of Warcraft style graduate school experience, right? Just chase those numbers and achievements. And then eventually you get the PhD, which means you beat the game. Congratulations.
Kind of what it is, right?
That's exactly what it is.
But I don't know. Did you like? I feel like at each stage it just felt so surreal. Like when you were in college, it felt surreal to be in college, and then when you graduated, it felt surreal. And then you get into graduate school somewhere you are happy to go. Like because Chicago was not somewhere I ever thought I wanted. I wanted to stay in the Southeast, you know, and that felt surreal. And then you get into graduate school and you pick a group, and it just is a series of like, holy crap, this is happening now.
Yep. No, I still have that. At the Gordon conference, I was invited to the GRS, the student seminar, to be like the speaker for science communication for that group. And it's like, I look up and I'm the oldest person in the room.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? When did any of this happen?
Yeah.
And I mean, I had to like acknowledge that. I gave my talk later in the week during the actual GRC. And I'm like, when did this happen?
Yeah, and like you still feel like one of them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not physically, but
that was my like honest opening. It was like, I don't know when this happened. I had to check the box for 40s for the first time at the GRC survey.
Are you 40?
Yep, just turned 40 in May. And I was like, holy shit, it feels like just yesterday I was the student at this meeting the big dogs. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're kind of a senior member of this. And how did that happen and when? I have no idea. So yeah, I still feel like an imposter. I don't know if that'll go away. We'll see. When you're Jack Saltfield's age.
Point. Yeah, so it's
58 years at FSU. That's what'll do it. All right. Another question. What is your favorite equation? Take your time. You don't want to piss off anyone with the wrong answer. What is your
I'm going to go lame and say Schrodinger equation. I think it's so cool that you can describe and how much is still unknown about it, but it works, right?
Can you jump on those guys?
The turtles?
No, the
spiky things are off limits.
The plants you can't.
Oh.
Because in Mario Maker you can. So Schrodinger equation.
Yeah.
Eugene says there is a right answer.
Euler, I know his answer. We argue about this all the time.
I've had 3 guests say that same answer. So
Euler?
maybe, yeah. Across physics, I think mechanical engineering, and quantum chemistry. So maybe it is the right answer. I don't know.
No, I'll have to say Dirac's equation just to give Dirac a shout out.
Yeah. His grave is a mile away from us.
I know. We've been there before.
Yeah. Shout out to Dirac. Well, can you die in that?
If you, you have to try.
I look forward to playing this. I had that at the in-person Ask a Scientist a few weeks ago. 2 people said Euler, crazy. It's a good equation. Yeah, it was probably David Collins and you, right? I think David said it on stream too.
Oh, that was lucky.
I haven't gone. Have you gone back to First Friday?
No, I was going to go that weekend that Eugene was there, but my parents were in town and I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And then Eugene texted he was having trouble finding parking, and I was like, well, now I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm just trying different things now.
That's fair. So we're at 10 o'clock. Anyone just joining us, Ask Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay, expert science. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. The guest today is Dr. Bridget DePrince, who's an expert in gas phase spectroscopy and molecular dynamics and physical chemistry, and all things classes related to teaching undergrad education. If you have any questions on any of those topics, we are happy to answer them. Or if you want to talk about, liquid water not being on Mars, we are also happy to address that. So feel free to throw your questions in chat. We should do a prediction sometime soon. God, Cuddle Puppy just put a YouTube link in there.
Is it about water?
Boom. It's just boom.
Okay.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3.
Boom.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Cuddle Puppy's favorite equation. That is an accurate description. Probably more useful than Euler's equation, but so it goes. Oh, man. Am I going to regret giving Cuddle Puppy permission to post links? I don't know. Eugene sure hasn't earned it yet. Who knows what he's going to post.
What was that?
Oh,
point?
man. Michu Mango, thank you for the subscription with Prime. Thank you for supporting the stream. It helps with our drinking habit as well as picking up games like New Super Mario Brothers. So we really do appreciate the support. You don't have to, but if you're going to, Prime is the way to do it. Make Jeff Bezos pay us, the $5 from his pocket because he doesn't need it, clearly. So we really do appreciate the support. Is this, you beat another one?
No.
Oh, this was the same one?
I just went to a different.
Oh.
I just tried a different world than a castle. The castles you can save after, but they're killing me.
I see. Is this going to inspire you to pick up gaming again?
Probably.
just go watch the speed run. See how fast they absolutely obliterate this game. Boom. Like it. What's your favorite equation? There is a right answer. Ooh. Oleo wants to know, how does FSU's research compare to other Florida universities or university?
Do you mean like the breadth of research or specific to opportunities?
Rank or quality?
Or, yeah.
It's a very interesting question. Eugene says best. We are the best at certain things. I'd say you're talking about like photochemistry and photophysics. FSU is by far the best in Florida and the Southeast United States. Other things, what are we pretty good at? Mass spec. Anything magnetism related, because the mag lab, we are by far the best. I don't know. What else? Eugene might have opinions.
Yeah, I'm just hung up on best. Like, what is...
What is that? Like, most papers, most... Yeah, these are the metrics are weird.
Because UF is bigger, right?
Yeah. Let's see. So Eugene asks, Ken, do you know what your Super Mario Brothers 1 rank is now? But I can look it up. Holy shit, I'm 416th.
Is that good or bad?
A little over 3 years ago, I was 176.
That's what I thought. I thought you were.
And so, like, I've
People have
lost
been on
200 places.
Well, you got something to do tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You mean the next 6 months? Because I'm at 5 minutes and 2 seconds. It would take me a long time to get those 2 seconds down. Even then, I wouldn't be top 200, even with the sub 5 minute. It's crazy. In terms of undergrad opportunities, I think there's a lot of research opportunities.
Yeah, I think both UF and FSU are pretty committed to involving. Whoops. Undergraduates in research. Don't know who's best. I mean, obviously FSU is, but I don't have that.
Want to do theory DePrince group is where it's at.
Yeah.
Yep. You got a research offer right there. But research, I mean, undergrad research opportunity is what you make of it. Like, you can talk about a broad university-wide thing, but really it's a very individualized experience. And the same thing with graduate groups.
And if you are an undergraduate, I think just getting your foot in a door.
Yeah, you might find out what you hate.
That's right. That's a useful data point.
Find it very quickly and then move on to the next
thing. Like this. I hate this world. I hate it.
Even more research opportunities if you count the COE.
College of Engineering, yeah.
Oh, College of Engineering, okay. I was going to say education, but College of Engineering. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. You just got to email professors and say, I'm interested in your research. Is there any undergrad research opportunities? And the likelihood of getting paid to do research as an undergrad is low, but, I mean, volunteering in a lab is there's usually going to be opportunities somewhere. Especially in Eugene DePrince's group.
He's still.
No, market yourself. Sales pitch. Getting jaded. You want to try Dr. Mario for a while?
Sure.
We'll move on to.
Ugh.
Yeah, all right. You had some victories in there.
Just my hands are.
Yeah. No, you're gonna feel it tomorrow. That's for sure. It's sad, but it's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to
cancel
transition
my rock climbing class
over to Dr. Mario. How long has it been since you played this one?
Eugene and I play on the Wii. Probably again not since our kid has been born, but not this old one.
The original, the OG Dr. Mario.
We're gonna start.
This is one of my favorites. Debbie and I used to play this all the time. And Lisa Chadwick challenged me on stream to play this against her, which was kind of fun.
Nice.
Don't challenge me. I do not want to play.
We've played before a long time ago.
Yeah.
I did not do well.
Yeah. Eugene was taking it seriously then. Yeah, at some point I started speedrunning this. Like one winter I did. I wonder what I'm ranked in that. I haven't even looked that one up. I was top 50 at one point. I'm 69th in Dr. Mario.
Oh, that's
nice. 17 minutes and 22 seconds for the first 10 levels.
How do you exit a level? Oh, I have to get the guy, of course.
Yep.
I wasn't thinking.
Yep, just viruses to zeros. But yeah, if anyone has questions about graduate school and the graduate school experience, stick around. Well, visit us in 2 weeks where the guest will be me. So I'm going to be I'm the chair of the graduate admissions committee at Florida State Chemistry Department. So we're going to have a Q&A answering questions about the graduate school experience, about admissions to graduate school, anything you want to know about anything I have to offer. You guys should swing by and ask those questions. I still got to decide what games I'm going to play. If anyone has suggestions,
get suggestions.
Someone tell me what games I should play. Probably some NARC speedruns. Maybe a little bit of Dr. Mario, I don't know. Tecmo Bowl, classics, Russian Attack is one of my favorites. Oleo is currently a UROP student. It's been great so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to get your foot in the door.
That's a great way to get.
And I mean, if you're serious about research, stay there. Keep doing it.
But if you're not into that lab too, I think there's no shame in admitting that you want to try something different. I did that. I worked for an analytical lab for a bit and then transitioned to a theory group. Recommend it. Yeah, but especially before graduate school, getting some like data points on what kinds of things.
Yeah, it's absolutely priceless. Mm-hmm. Figure out what you don't want to do with your life. Figure out what you do. Cuddle Puppy. University of Really Old People. UROP stands for Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program. It's a special program at FSU where undergrads can sign up and basically they get placed in a lab or there's like an exchange to decide. They changed it.
She can ask her. I don't know. Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh,
you distracted me.
I did.
Oh.
Not
your fault.
No, it is. I'll take responsibility for that. Right. Are you good or do you need another one?
I'll take one.
Do you want another grapefruit?
Sure, yeah. That was good.
I will grab the grapefruit and be right back.
This is awkward. Oh, man.
respect, I should have given you a chat window.
Yeah, you didn't give me the instructions on what to do. So I just said, this is weird. This is weird. Awkward, awkward.
What's crazy is people do this for a living, and they'll just, like, talk.
Yeah.
There's no questions, there's no cues, there's some engagement, but...
It's like all my lectures.
No, your lectures have a plan. People just, like, turn on Twitch and just talk. It's absolutely breathtaking. Here I am planning out every nuance of every presentation I ever give. Speaking of which, my PowerPoint clicker died today.
Oh.
After 10 years and probably 20,000
I've
slides.
never really used a PowerPoint clicker. Well, I don't do PowerPoints that often.
No, it's my go-to mode of operation, and it just...
Did it die in the middle of class?
It was starting to get really fickle, and then like the battery was dying quicker, and it's not dead, but it's like I don't rely on it anymore. So I'm going to... Next week, I'm upstate New York, going to SUNY Cortland and Ithaca College to give talks.
Okay.
I'm like, I cannot rely on this thing.
Yeah.
I need a new one.
Did you get one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Hopefully it arrives tomorrow. Best Buy coming through.
Yeah.
This stream brought to you by Best Buy.
Thinking of like the new world that people are growing up in. Man, the instant like availability of things and what that does to, just instant gratification, I guess, and wanting to know something immediately. And you can't fault people for that.
Man, I went to Italy, and I went to the airport, and I'm like, I'm going to pick up a SIM card and whatever. And they're like, oh, it's 70 euros. You get 2 SIM cards and 70 gigs. I'm like, that is a lot. I'm lazy. I'll check out in town. I ultimately ended up not getting a SIM card. So I just did Wi-Fi, but it really keyed me up on how much I rely on being able to look up stuff immediately. Yeah. And it's not even like important stuff like directions. GPS still worked. It was more like a who was that actor kind of thing. Like
this is a silly example I give people, like my students. A lot of times I'll give that not that long ago you would be watching a movie and you would say, what's that actor in? And you would sit there for days, right? Just thinking about
never know the answer.
Well, like, and then it would be one of those things that would like come to you like 2 days later, out of nowhere. And now we don't even try anymore to just, especially, what is it? Is it RTV? I don't know if it's Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's a specific app, but if you pause it, it'll tell you like what the song is on the screen and who the actors are on the screen.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not a bad thing. It's just it's a different.
Yeah.
That skill set of needing to be able to recognize random actors' faces. It's not what it used to be.
I mean, but even then, like finding it, I guess you look up the movie you're watching, but even recognizing, it's a different skill set.
Yeah.
Totally Not Eugene wants to know, how do I convert picometers to nanometers?
10 to the 3.
Look it up on Wolfram Alpha. Is the answer. Does it involve water on Mars?
Why are you converting picometers?
No. Oh, that was related to you not having your phone in Italy? That's fair. So I had Wi-Fi when I was at the locations, but yeah, traveling between, relying heavily on GPS and hoping it holds true.
I went to Taiwan by myself before cell phones were really a thing.
Oh my god. Yeah, thankfully in Italy, like most people have some degree of English.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too
Well, they did too, but I got on a train from Taipei. I can't remember the name of the town, up to like somewhere in the northeastern part of the country. And it was like the train just all of a sudden stopped speaking in English. Like it wasn't warned. It was just one stop was translated. And then you got far enough outside of Taipei and they were like, you're probably good now.
You ran out of English.
No need to tell you where you are.
So how'd you figure out when you get
They're
out?
nice people.
Okay. You just asked around until...
I mean, so it was a weird thing. It's a weird thing being there. Everybody thought I was an English teacher because I was a white girl traveling by myself.
That's fair.
So I would everybody was interested to talk to me. So I don't even remember. I mean, it was not a big deal. I didn't feel unsafe or anything, but it was like glad I'm not on this train by myself.
Man,
But yeah, how much easier that would have been with the GPS or, with some kind of translation app or something like that. And there were I remember there were street signs, because I had paper maps. Remember the days of paper maps? Mm-hmm. And the street signs, I can't remember what letter, but something on a street sign would have a G, like the Roman G, but the map would have a K. And to me, those are different. So I wouldn't turn on that street. And then I would get lost. And they would say, no,
those are the same.
Those are the same. It's interesting.
That's intense. All right, we're past 10 o'clock. We should do one more of our predictions. Which one do you want?
Do I have more?
Yep, you got these two.
Interstellar medium.
I had to look up what ISM was.
Doesn't really matter. In space.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do another prediction.
And to be fair, I'm talking about ground state detections, not, you wouldn't send something to the interstellar medium.
This is qualifiers for Eugene, so he doesn't get upset. Exactly. This is marriage glue, giving qualifiers on the statements. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not following click follow standard internet units, what is the largest species found in the interstellar medium? As in space, what is the biggest molecule we're aware of? Is it greater than 50 atoms or less than 50 atoms? So this is not on planets. This is floating around in space.
And I would say not aware of, but have been definitively found. There's a lot of stuff that pretty sure is there, but haven't definitively found it.
Yeah, so what's the largest one we have evidence for? Is it greater than 50 atoms or less than 50 atoms? Astrospectroscopy. I was on I'm on a committee for one of David Collins' students in physics. So I got to learn a little bit about how they actually measure molecules in space.
What kind of astronomy, or what kind of telescopes, I guess, are they?
So he models, I guess it would be the Webb data now is what they're using, but he models star formations and things like that. If I got $1 for every word of that question I understood, I'd be in debt. Wait, what? Big molecule, space, how big? We'll simplify it. Cuddle puppy, I know you understand that. Oh, is it greater than 50 atoms or less than 50 atoms? You have about 20 seconds left to guess or know the answer. Don't look up the answer. Make your predictions now. Just some random betting. 98 standard internet units.
Oh, I forgot to pause.
That's one thing I really like is the recovery. Battling your way back from the Dr. Mario hole. Thanks for translating into caveman, my native language. Absolutely. Holy. I find myself doing that more and more. The language that I think is common is not, especially with Gen Chem students. We use rate limiting stuff all the time in casual language, but it's not common language.
Yeah, I was taught I'm not comparing Gen Chem students to my 5-year-old, but I was talking to Adeline the other day about gas. She's learning about liquids and solids, and she was really confused about something, and it finally came. The only context she's heard gas is put gas in the car. So she was it's completely within, the confines of what you've seen. It makes total sense.
Oh. All right, Bridget, what is the answer? What is the largest species found in the interstellar medium?
I think we're up to about 70 atoms.
Greater than 50 atoms.
Shout out to our late colleague, Harry Kroto. So he, if you don't know, got the Nobel Prize in the late 90s for making in the lab setting C60, so 60 carbon atoms. In the shape they've kind of formed the shape of a soccer ball. You might have seen it somewhere, but right before he died, I want to say 2011 or somewhere in the 2010s. He had made this in a laboratory setting, but was convinced beyond measure that it should be present. It wasn't in the interstellar medium. I don't remember where they found it, but in.
Ooh, this is an elegant one. Oh, we could have doubled.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You shouldn't.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited.
I mean,
sorry to interrupt. That was.
But yeah, so right before he died, like literally within a year, maybe two, it was found in one of those star forming regions, which I think is just really poetic and beautiful.
Yeah, I'm glad he got to see that because he was arguing for many years.
Yeah, but yeah, they're still relatively small, and just I think the point that I don't know that I find interesting is it's not that there's not anything interesting there. It's just that from our, especially even space-based telescopes and satellite-based telescopes, it's just really hard as molecules become more complex. It's really hard to unravel information and to be, conclusive about anything. So there's a ton. I mean, as telescopes get more and more advanced, there's like ton. If anybody is into data manipulation, data processing, there's so much data coming off of these telescopes that's just sitting there.
Yeah. Cuddle puppy, that's why we don't let you post links. You remember that scene from Saved by the Bell? She became a drug addict. Double clear being set up. Thank you. Sorry. I should not click links. Or I should mute YouTube before I click links. That'll come to bite me in the ass. But C60 is unique because it has like one distinct spectral feature because it's perfectly symmetric, or not just one, but I mean it's a large molecule but has simple signatures associated with it, and they're very distinct for C60. I think that's why it made it easier to see that than a lot of things. But I'm really excited about like amino acids in space and like building blocks of life. And
so that's the methane diol thing, though. It's really like the bigger and the floppier the molecules get, the more degrees of freedom they have, and the more it's hard to untangle that from something else.
It's hard. You don't get isolated molecules. You get all the noise.
And it's it's even pretty recent. I mean, I'm gonna say 2012. Something like that like branched, I can't remember what the exact molecule was, but it was some kind of a branched like methylamine or something was found, and like that to us is not complex at all, like especially from a biological perspective. But for the things that have been found in space, it was like the first, if you think about an amino acid with the alpha carbon and the amine group, it was the first evidence of branched nitrogen containing molecules, and that was super exciting.
Yeah,
because if that can exist, then the idea that maybe something else could, and it could be the
isopropyl cyanide.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. And that is a relatively simple molecule. And totally not Eugene. Yeah, exciting stuff like water on Mars. Maybe you looked it up. Using his Google food. Isopropyl cyanide. So 70 atoms?
It's something like it's something around 70.
Largest molecule in space.
And you're gonna they have what's the word, like observers that can land on asteroids, that sort of thing, and actually take samples, so you would get different.
A lot of articles from 2010. There's a 2022. Let's see what they say. Dimethyl ether?
No way. That's got to be in some specific, like, planet forming.
Yeah, planet forming disk is where they found it. Yeah, protoplanet disk. Yeah. Somebody's tracking these records. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have about 7 minutes before we're going to turn on NARC.
Right. Deal.
We'll do a speed run. Eugene's going to watch you beat his time. Little does Eugene know that Bridget and I have been practicing for like 2 years for this moment.
So much practicing.
Trying to teach you a lesson about water on Mars and NARC speed running. But yeah, anyone joining us, Ask the Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay, expert science, or we'll see, expert gameplay on NARC. It's coming. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about gas phase spectroscopy and how it relates to astrochemistry and or atmospheric chemistry, we haven't talked atmospheric chemistry at all, which probably should. Turns out it's pretty important, like CFCs and damaging the atmosphere. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, throw those in chat. Bridget is happy to answer them. I also have to change it to Dr. Mario. Stream info.
Why don't we hear about the ozone layer anymore?
That's a good question.
It's gone. Did you not hear? There's a hole. That is a good question. I don't know.
It's healing. It's been healing for a decade.
Yeah, and bigger problems, I guess.
Good point. We don't have the memory for more than one major global problem at a time. As soon as we forget, clearly it's gone. So what's your favorite music in Dr. Mario? Is it chill or is it fever?
What is this one?
I think this is...
This is the only one I know.
Fever. The other one is chill.
Yeah.
We stopped using aerosols that cause a hole in the first place? Yes.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of libertarians? Yes. I mean, man, so I don't know what I was ranting about in class, but a student came up to me after class and was like, do you ascribe to libertarian philosophies? You seem like a smart guy. I'm like, have you listened to me? Because, I mean, some things like libertarian philosophy can solve, but there are a lot that it can't. Like holes in the ozone layer, and like free market does not help you with major global problems. It can't. People will make money off death and destruction, and there's no question they will. Much to the chagrin of libertarians. No, the ozone thing is a good story. We don't hear about it because we as a planet decided CFCs are terrible and destroying the ozone layer, and we ban them. Voila, we solve the problem. Yes. No, it's an example of us collectively deciding for the good of humanity something needed to be done. Then... if COVID taught us anything, those type of collaborative efforts do not exist anymore. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe I'm too cynical, I don't know. It's a good story in catalysis, though.
I still don't understand how it's a catalysis problem, but that's a story for another day.
I mean, it's the chlorine radical, right? It dissociates the O3 to give you O2 and oxygen chloride, and then oxygens combine and gives you the Cl dot back, right? Is that the reaction?
I don't.
Something like that. It's the chlorine radical, I think, is what does it. Mechanism? Not all of us do our reactions in our head. Do you do any reactions? Yes, you do isomerization of binol as of a submitted paper from last week.
Nice.
Yeah. I had many atoms. I was like 20, 30 something, 32, 35 atoms. Let's see if somebody draws out this reaction. Yeah, it's the Cl dot that initiates it. Way too many. Who knows what's going on? Especially a cavity. How many atoms does that have? Cavities. Oh man, I saw 2 talks on cavities and people doing chemistry in cavities. Or doing photon up conversion in cavities. I'm like, yep, cavities do stuff. Elaborate. I mean, they were just doing photon up conversion and singlet fission and changing the coupling between triplet states and the energy of that based on the cavity and size of the cavity or what harmonic they're coupling to. I mean, the changes are usually pretty subtle, but I guess sometimes they can be bigger. All right, 2 minutes, Bridget. We're going to switch over to NARC.
Okay.
Heads up.
I'm ready.
Are you excited as I am?
So excited.
I need to figure out which game is going to be the next joke on Ask a Scientist Gaming. Or do we just keep doing NARC? So, like, I do this Ask a Scientist Gaming for fun, but I also, like, have this intrinsic drive to watch the numbers go up. Like, number of views and number of people watching. And right now, staring at me is we have 499 followers. We're one person away.
Call a friend.
Call a friend. All my friends are already following. There is The Room, the video game? No, there isn't. What? Like some kind of fan-made video game. Oh, hi, Mark.
What am I thinking of? There was a movie in the last 10 years that was a mom and her son or something that were
Oh, yeah, the
stuck
safe
in a room.
Safe
Okay,
room.
okay.
Safe room is what
Okay.
you're talking. Room or just Room? That's another one. There is The Room game. I don't know if it's related to the movie. We're going to say it's unrelated to movie. All right. Oleo. I hope I'm saying your name right. Oleo redeemed a request a factoid. Bridget, do you have a factoid? A knowledge bomb you would like to drop on the audience?
Yes. Did you know that so J.J. Thomson won the Nobel Prize in 1906? Do you remember what he won it for?
Electron.
For charge of an electron.
Yep.
And you know what's interesting to me? A mere 30 years later,
Son, yeah.
his son won the Nobel Prize for proving, quote unquote, that an electron is a wave. I find that super interesting, right? Like dinner around the Thanksgiving table.
Yeah.
Like one of them has proof that it's a particle and the other has proof that it's a wave. And it's one of the first, maybe not first, but it's one of the most obvious instances of duality. Right?
Yeah. No, that is an awesome story. And I don't think it was contentious either, because they were both right in their time phase. I don't think it was like...
And they both are right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just... And to be fair, I think Thomson was the charge, but combined with... I think Millikan came before with the mass of an electron, so they kind of together... have the mass to charge ratio of an electron.
Cuddle Puppy. Is this going to be a future Broadway play?
I mean, go for it. I'll buy a ticket.
Yeah. Don't just dream it. Make it true. Make it happen, Cuddle Puppy. You are not my son. Electrons aren't just a phase, Dad. Absolutely. Did you go to there was a one person play, the Marie Curie story that was at FSU? It was like 7 years ago. It was like when we first got here. But it was actually really entertaining. Like it was much better than the movie that they released recently. Texan Space Agency, welcome back to the stream. It's a pleasure to have you. Hey y'all, delivering on the Texas.
The one I will say, Eugene and I went and saw Dr. Atomic in Chicago, and it was so awful.
Yeah.
It kind of killed me for wanting to see scientific reenactment. So
there's a Oppenheimer movie coming out soon. We're gonna see how that one goes. Texan, you missed out last week. We had a... Sorry, Bridget. I'm detracting you from you as the guest. But
that's fine.
Susan
I'm pretty
Turner,
boring.
she did chemistry and molten metals. So Texas Space Agency is actually a blacksmith. Actually works with metallurgy and things like that.
Cool.
But Susan LaTurner does chemical reactions in molten metal. She literally melts things like tin and gallium. And what else does she work with? But yeah, it does chemistry inside of molten metals, which is really, really cool. Yeah, Christopher Nolan is directing the Oppenheimer movie. I'm optimistic it'll be good. I think this is one of those that might actually capture. I mean, it's a sexy topic, and yeah. And the most I've ever melted is some beer cans and accidentally a flip-flop once.
Do flip-flops melt?
They're hot enough. Absolutely.
I would put my money on burning.
So if I ask Texan what's the most hazardous experiment you've seen in your space, that is the answer. Never forge flip-flops. Batman voice, I'm Oppenheimer. Nolan makes smart movies for dumb people. I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. Oh, the Stib has a comment. Totally not Debbie says hi. So Debbie is in the other room commenting from the Stib account. You know, Debbie, that account has like 10,000 standard internet units. You could make Bridget drink until she passes out. What? I didn't have 2 minutes to put on boots, but apparently I had 6 weeks to heal. They were on you while the flip-flops melted. That is pretty brutal.
My sister once melted. Do you remember jellies? Were you ever? They're like a kid's shoe back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And she melted jellies to her foot with a sparkler.
Oh, my God. And, like, had to have it removed. All right, Bridget, are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. It is time for some NARC. All right, we have the clock. Do you want to see the clock or do you not want to see the clock?
Which remote are you using? This one?
Nope, your Nintendo one. You're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, we're closing the night with NARC. Bridge is going to win the war on drugs and save all of us from the evil plague that is drug use. They working on descheduling marijuana, which is pretty amazing. Go ahead and start. The clock is pressure? Absolutely. Oh, keep going. Start. Yep, jump. There you go. Better hide your drugs, kids. Yeah, where were all these free drugs people were giving away that I was promised?
You can't make him go faster, right? Mm-hmm. This is just it. Okay.
Eugene has already claimed his record is safe.
Oh.
You've been directly challenged. Yeah, just walk right. Don't look back. All right, should we do our last prediction? I think it's time.
Oh, no.
Keep going right.
You had to take a little break.
All right, we got one more prediction, ladies and gentlemen.
What am I doing here, Ken? Oh, there I
go. One time I was at a festival and all the kids were saying, try the grass, try the grass. So I bent down and grabbed a handful. Didn't do much for me. But oh boy, the fertilizer. Oh man. That is a quality dad joke right there. Try the grass. What do you mean grass? All right, we're putting up another prediction.
You need to save it for your dad.
All right, the question is, how often do air particles collide? This is, again, at room temperature, normal atmospheric pressure, the air particles
around your head
us.
right now.
How often do they collide with each other? Is it once or anything, and collide with another atom? Is it is it greater than once per second, or is it less than 1 per second? So gas molecules are pretty spread out, but we learned earlier they're going pretty fast. So the question is, how often do they collide? Greater than once per second or less than once per second?
I don't need to be shooting anything. That's nice. They tell you where to go. What is the point of this?
In any given area. Michu, I'm assuming you're referring to this question. We'll just say the air around you right now, the air that's around your head. So not in a high pressure chamber or anything, just one atmosphere of pressure and temperature. All right, so now you got to shoot the guys in black at close range with bullets instead of rockets, and one will drop. So hold the A button. Yeah, and eventually one of those will drop a blue card. If you hold both buttons, you can shoot the dog. Oh, there you go. There's the blue card.
This is the silliest thing I've ever seen.
That was a chemistry lab. What's my elevation? We're saying it's sea level. It doesn't matter. How much
It does matter because it'll be but ambient, like, so 1 atmosphere pressure.
Yeah, so sea
But you're
level is
absolutely
what I-
right. It'll matter.
What if I have a big head? That's a good question. Surface area matters. I don't know how much that changes the calculation. All right,
Pretty sure
5
your
seconds.
head's big enough compared to the molecule that it wouldn't matter too much.
All right, Bridget, what is the answer? How often do particles collide? Greater than once per second or less than once
Way
per
less than 1 per second.
second? Way less than once per
Yeah,
second.
but I think all of the things that they're saying are right? So if you were up in the upper levels of the atmosphere or even in the far reaches of space, it can be a way longer time before molecules
Go
interact
back.
with one
You
another.
want that car. Sorry. All right, so you're going to jump in.
Jump.
Tap B. Tap it. There you go. Maybe
Am I
move
in it?
down a little bit. Move down on the screen. You might be a little too high. There you go. All right. Expert gameplay.
Ridiculous. What just
Just keep
happened?
walking right. that was your car journey right there. Totally worth it. All of that was totally worth it. All right, so the answer is less than once per second. Congratulations to Totally Not Eugene, who got a bunch of standard internet units. Congratulations. Who bets 147 internet units? I don't understand your decision making, but I respect that you got it right. So congratulations on the
Help
less
me.
than once per second jump. And press right. Now you're levitating.
Seriously?
Oh. Texas Space Agency wants to know if a train exits New York City going 55 miles an hour, another train exits San Diego at 33 miles an hour, does the patriarchy lead to global warming? You don't have to answer any of that.
Enough with the woke.
The answer is it's a trick question. There are no trains in the United States. Enough with this woke math. Oh man, don't even get us started about curriculum in Florida. See how this election goes. There's record voter turnouts early in Georgia. So we will see how this unfolds. If you have any non-train related questions for Bridget, put them in chat. Oh man. So if you press both buttons, you can
Those
squat
dogs.
shoot.
Go away, dogs.
Squat shoot. Both buttons. Hold them down.
I don't want to shoot a dog.
Oh, it's
Don't
okay.
tell
Just turn into a
Magellan.
puppy.
Don't tell Magellan.
Magellan couldn't hear you anyway.
It's true.
Because billionaire corporations are busy trying to win wealthiest contest instead of sustainable society? Absolutely. What if I have intoxicating masculinity? I don't know what that is. Oh, car.
Oh, another one?
Yep. So your best bet is to stay on the bottom.
Jump.
Jump. Tap B.
Tap.
There you
You
go.
hopped right in
So
that
stay on
time.
the bottom. There'll be some bombs up
Do
here.
these matter?
No. And then boom. And then you keep going.
Look at it. He's got a strut, too.
We call it a saunter on this stream. the NARC saunter.
Tap. Can't get that.
Yeah, we were talking about that at that conference. Like, even flying in the plane, like, it feels bad. Now they show you the CO2 numbers, right? And the CO2 released for your flight. But, like, when you do the math, we are negligible compared to the 5,000 people that are, like, super spenders, super consumers, super rich people. Like,
What's the math on driving a car? Like, so if all 400 people on the plane, or however many people,
where to drive? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. No one in academia has arms like me, Car. And stay on the bottom till the end. You gotta have a permit to carry these guns on campus. We'll see. They're trying to pull away that. There's a Supreme Court case that's trying to advocate that you can't restrict guns from campuses or schools. So we'll see how that unfolds. So jump again. All right. Okay, third time try. This time in the form of question. Have you ever burned your eyeballs in lab? If so, how?
Oh yeah, I did that.
A laser? Eye?
Yes, I was ozone. I was trying. I can't. It was a UV vis. Essentially, I got welder's eye. Have you ever
Wow.
heard of that? And which is a fun fact. My dad was a welder, so he knew exactly what was going on. But yeah, I got home that day. I was a postdoc. I got home that day. It was totally fine. We went to bed, or started getting ready for bed. And around midnight, I felt like I had sand in my eyes.
Oh God.
And I made Eugene call the emergency room to see if I should come in, and they were like, "I'm not gonna tell you to come in over the phone or not come in over."
Yeah,
the
they didn't
phone."
want that responsibility.
Of course not.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Anyway.
Okay, you're gonna go out the door. Well, grab the card. Then go out the door, but stop pressing up when you go out the door.
I can't find my guy. He died.
Now you're good.
No, you said it. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
No, it happens to everyone. I've had welder's eyes. I couldn't stop crying. How long was the recovery on that?
I mean, we had to go. That was the other thing. We had just started dating. No, we were married. But he had his, what was it, your 10-year reunion? Is that a clown?
Yes, a clown with a knife. That relates to Samuel Animate's question. What is this game? This game is NARC for the NES, 1989 release for the NES. This is how you win the war on drugs. Written, directed, and programmed by Nancy Reagan. Just kidding. That's not actually true. But yeah,
I would have told somebody. That would have been my next toy.
It still can be. No responsibility
Did
here.
you know? Did Eugene tell me earlier that factoid is actually a word from, or did you tell me
I told you that. I learned that
Okay.
from Ted Kohlberg, who, when he was looking up factoids, looked up the definition of factoid. You're going to go that way. This is the only level you go left. Nancy Hussein Reagan.
But yeah, anyway, Eugene, so we were in Atlanta, and Eugene had some, I guess it was a 20-year reunion, high school reunion, and we were driving to Nashville.
You got to shoot the Rambo-looking guys with bullets. So hold A. How old do you think I am? 20-year reunion?
I don't know. It was 10.
Yep, him with the bullet. Hold the trigger.
Oh. Not that guy.
That guy.
Missed.
So not too far away. It's weird. It has to be somewhat close for this to work. I don't know the rules. Actually, I do know the rules. I just don't know why they exist the way they do. So you have to kill him so the other guy can spawn.
I see. Obviously.
Obviously.
Still didn't work.
Old enough to know better than to go back to Nashville. What is that emote? Is that one of yours? Texans 2 Pinata? The flaming pinata? You're 10?
What's my goal here?
Oh, did you get the green card?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's going to be shooting the Rambo looking guys until they drop a green card. There it is. And then it's out the door. Sorry, I got distracted by chat. 10-year reunion.
But yeah, I couldn't go because I think it must have been 2 or 3 days is my point, because we drove to Nashville with it and I was still
Yeah.
not going to go.
Yeah, Samuel Animates, you should definitely try playing NARC. It's an excellent game. You should speedrun and submit your time.
I'm going to disagree with...
What? You're not having fun with this? Clowns with knives?
What? Have they made a movie on this?
No. Well, there is a movie called NARC, but it's unrelated to this one.
I want to know what the clowns are doing.
That's Kinky Pinky, and they are a minion of... There's a manual
Stop,
for
I
this
don't
game. There's a manual. You clearly haven't watched my speedrun tutorial video. The most video editing I've ever done is a speedrun tutorial for NARC. So if anyone wants to beat this game in 9 minutes and 30 seconds, wait, I'm going to put the link right now. This is literally the best video editing I've ever done. All right, anyone that wants to beat this, if you get a sub 930, you're already in the top 5 in this game. Anyone could do it following the instructions that I have in that video. So,
And are
Bridget,
those monks?
those are, what's his name? It's the Low Steph Gang, and he is a drug dealer, and that's like his trench coat. Like he's flashing. I don't know. But yeah, I encourage everyone to try speedrunning NARC. Get a sub 10-minute. You can be top 10 in the world in NARC. Bridget, I expect next time you're on the stream, absolutely decimate this game. I actually need somebody to speedrun this game with me. Because there's a 2-player version of this.
Okay, I need to get a... Oh, you didn't have to have a red safeguard.
Yep, you have the red already.
Oh, how'd I get that?
I've been trying to talk Eugene into speedrunning this with me. We could be the best speedrunners in NARC, Eugene. I will do it.
Once I have some
time.
This is what I hear every day.
Exactly. Man, this last month has probably been the busiest of my life. Like, I'm usually pretty organized, but there are things slipping through the cracks, and I don't... Yeah. It's a bit overwhelming. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. Graduate recruiting, plus travels, plus everything else. You should be working right now. I am working. This is broader impacts. This is science outreach.
Have you guys been healthy in school?
Yeah, we've been okay. It's been actually pretty surprising. You have the blue card, so you're okay. I'm not convinced this is a fun game, but I appreciate you selling it. Depends how you define fun. It has some fun intricacies in the speed run. And the speed run's actually pretty easy.
Now there's somebody in a... Is this Mr.
hard.
Big?
Yes. Well, this is the room with Mr. Big. So both buttons, you can shoot the dogs or just run away from them. It's up to you. Depends what your opinion on shooting dogs is.
My opinion is very low on shooter. I do not want to shoot the dogs. I don't know how to say that.
What? My wife got so stressed out she needs emergency gallbladder surgery. That's crazy. Like Eugene's eye twitch thing.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Yeah, Eugene gave himself shingles and eye twitch disease. Poor Eugene. All right, so what am I doing?
So you're going to shoot the guy in the wheelchair with a rocket.
Obviously.
So tap the shoot button. Yep. Little faster. Like just a... There you go. So when the wheelchair guy comes back... Oh, that was close.
Was it?
It was. I've never had a student openly weep in an exam before. Oh my God. Intro to GIS. Nancy Reagan wants you to shoot the guy in the wheelchair. That's true. That was in her will. Shoot the guy in the wheelchair. Oh.
Oh! He flopped around. Where are you going?
Inchworm 2 more times. Texas Space Agency's wife is a graduate advisor and business manager of department is leaving. The department chair wants her for it, but it's a whole new bag of responsibilities. Man, we've had some major staff turnovers in our department. It has been bad. There you go. All right, one more.
That is something.
So my major contribution to the speedrun is I figured out if you despawn him off the left side of the screen, he doesn't do that wiggle and he shows up again. So that's how I save 30 seconds on this game.
Yeah, well, this is like oddly graphic in some parts and then like just not in others.
So this is one of the games that started the like video games are causing violence.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, pretty graphic explosions and...
Come back, you guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. We don't pay staff enough to put up with the shit that they put up with. Like, even putting up with my colleagues is gotta be a pain in the ass. Talking to you, Eugene. Oh, there we go. All right. Now you get a gold card.
Wow. Did I get it?
Nope. You blew the shit out of those dogs, though.
I don't understand.
All right. Are you ready for this, Bridget? This is the final phase of the boss. Yep.
Oh, gosh.
Mario Party genuinely does cause violence when you have a star lead, but second place finds a star in a random blue block. It's time for fisticuffs. Yeah. That and the Mario Kart blue shell and relationships. Absolutely. That and
fisticuffs. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
And Twitch predictions about water on Mars.
What is that? Is he eating me?
It's Mr. Big. Obviously. Haven't you ever won the war on drugs before?
Is he throwing pancakes at me? What is he doing?
That's his tongue.
This is too much.
Yes. So you're going to go to the top of the screen, run away from him to the right,
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, you'll probably die, but now run real quick. So don't press up, just press right.
Yeah.
Go to the top of the screen. And you're going to turn around and you're going to try to jump shoot him in the hat.
Jump, shoot him in the
Yep,
hat.
so turn around, tap B, and then tap A while you're in the air. Yep, so get a distance away from him. And just stand still, turn back, jump, shoot him in the hat. Yeah.
Why am I facing the wall?
This is because you're pressing up. So when you get like that far away, turn back, jump, shoot. So tap B and then tap A. Well, yep. What's it?
Oh, it wasn't.
It makes kids physically dependent on Doritos and Mountain Dew. Yeah, Call of Duty does that.
Jump, 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 shoot. I can't with this. I can't.
Let's try going back the other way. If you get frustrated and give up, no worries. I'll be happy to intervene. But you do have 6 minutes to kill, so...
No, how do you jump? How do you jump? Oh.
B, yep. So it'll be like B to get in the air, and then right when you're at like the peak, then you tap A. So run away, one way, yep. Get a good distance away, turn
B.
back. Yep, and then that was actually really close. So do the same thing, run away that way.
I'm trying.
No worries, you're doing pretty good on time. You just need one lucky jump shot, and that's it. I'm not saying that Call of Duty leads to jazz music or fornication or nothing like that. I'm just curious. We've only really had stuff like this for a few generations, and biology works slowly. I don't know, I think our response to video games is, I don't think it's that dissimilar from things that have been known in the past. Just stimuli reward and endorphins released with reward systems. It's like gambling. This is the worst part of the game.
Oh my god, this is like the worst thing of my day.
It's a pretty good day.
I don't even know what I'm... That's a good point.
So yeah, maybe get them on the like complete edge of the screen, and then turn back.
Okay, and then...
Oh, that was really close. So that was a bullet instead of a rocket, but...
I need a rocket?
Yep. So it's just tapping A.
Tap B, tap A.
Yep.
Tap B, tap A. Tap B, tap A. Tap B, tap A. Oh.
Yep. So walk away from them. Do that again.
Tap B, tap A. Tap B, tap A. Oh.
That was close. Yeah, get a little more distance from them so you have a little more time. But yeah, Bridget's distracted. Throw your questions at her right now. She wants to answer them.
Yeah.
We'll close with one of my other favorites. What is your favorite, like, oh, there it is. Okay, you got the glasses off, so now walk away. You don't have to jump and shoot anymore.
Okay, so what do I do now?
Walk away, you'll turn back, shoot a rocket. Just tap A. No jumpingness. There we go. Okay, now
There's
walk away.
skull.
A walk away, you're going to want to be somewhere in like the middle of the screen and you're going to shoot bullets. So get away from him, turn back, and hold. Then we can do that. What's the square root of this apartment?
4. We had a friend in Chicago that yelled that out one time. I don't know what.
Ooh, how does your career differ from what you thought it'd be when you were
Oh,
a
yeah.
student?
You weren't here at the beginning. Very different.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching faculty.
So run that way.
And
Bunch.
when I was an undergraduate student,
Turn back and hold A.
I honestly thought I would, I wanted to go to dental school. Am I not shooting them in the right
No, you
spot?
did it. You got 2 vertebrates, so you do it again.
Okay.
Just walk left, turn back, shoot A.
I wanted to go to dental school or teach high school chemistry or math. Decided at some point in my undergraduate career that I wanted to pursue a PhD. And then wanted to do, I wanted to be a faculty member and do research with undergraduates, but not graduate students. And then I'm teaching faculty now, teaching undergraduates, but really not much of a research component, at least not recently. I tried for a little bit when I first got here, but my position is 85-90% teaching, and it really does consume my.
To move down. Yep, and it's just kind of getting lucky on hitting those.
Yeah, I don't know. So why undergrads over graduate students? There's something, I think because I was so, this sounds cliche or cheesy, but I was very transformed by some of the instructors that took interest in me as an undergraduate, and I kind of wanted to pay back a little bit. And then what we were talking about at the beginning, the research that I was trained in as a graduate student was very...
So go up a little bit. You can't shoot them at the bottom or the top for some reason. I'm sorry, Bridget, it's terrible. It depends on your Y position as well as when you pull the trigger, but you can't be at the top and you can't be at the bottom. It's somewhere in the middle. Yep, then walk away and try it again. It's not cheesy. Early mentors are essential and transformative. Absolutely.
But yeah, so as a graduate student myself, I was tied to the lab. Like Eugene can verify this, but there were nights I would have to go in at 2 a.m. and turn off an alarm because a vacuum chamber had leaked. There were times that I had to go in on holidays to replace dewars or, stupid helium dewar. And I just was at a point in my life where I wanted to not be tied to a lab like that, and I just didn't want it. I don't know how to I admire people that do, but I wanted some flexibility. So
I mean, it's a life choice, especially as like an assistant professor, the amount of time you have to commit to doing shit yourself.
Yeah, and like Chicago was an interesting place just in terms of the culture. We lived, and I mean, we played hard, but we lived and worked in the lab or near the lab, so it wasn't a big deal. But my postdoc was at Emory, and it was very different. It was not like finding a graduate student that's willing to invest that kind of time. It's not something that's easy. I don't know what to do, Ken.
Yeah, so go left. You got a lot of room to go left, so get some space from him, then turn back and just pull the trigger. And then when he gets close, keep going left. Oh! Last 2. Shoot him. Done. Go.
Oh my gosh.
Go. Oh man. So get through the door, and then we have civil forfeiture of the level. Also, Cuddle Puppy says, when vacuum chambers leak, all the vacuums escape and terrorize all local cats and dogs. True or false?
That's a false.
Oh, Eugene, slow down. Uh-oh.
What?
Keep going. Huggy Bear, thank you for joining us. Yes, you are late. You have about a minute to ask a question. Go get the 2550.
Did I beat him?
Let me see. Eugene DePrince, 2643. Yes.
Did I beat him?
You did. Oh, I'm sorry. Totally not, Eugene. He said pick up all the gold. She did not. She's not falling for your bullshit. Congratulations. So at 2550, that puts you at... Huggy Beer has requested a factoid. Wow. Oh. Congratulations. That put you at number 12 or 13 on the list right now. So congratulations, Bridget. I'm just going to put these numbers in now because it's easier. 2550. Was it everything you hoped it would be?
No.
Oh, that game. You just left all the gold on the ground. You totally could have had civil forfeiture the crap out of it. That's true. All right, so we had a Huggy Beer wanted to request a factoid. So the last factoid of the night. What knowledge bomb do you want to drop on the audience before we call it a night?
I'm drawing a blank. I left my notes at home.
Anything.
Fritz Haber, Nobel Prize for Haber-Bosch process. What is he? Father of chemical warfare?
Yeah, father.
So won the Nobel Prize for nitrogen fixation, I guess, right? Just turning atmospheric nitrogen into a usable form for fertilizers. And I think won the Nobel Prize in 1918, but was also very, very, very involved with the Germans in World War I. So I'm not a historian, but I think World War I was like 14 to 18, 11 to 18. Something like that.
It was like 19. Yeah. It was after
won the prize, fed the world while also killing. Excuse me.
So his net math on saving versus killing is
it's still one of the most controversial Nobel Prizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then try to kill them all, absolutely.
So I feel like that's lame, but I can't.
I mean, it's fun. Follow-up factoid on that. Fritz Haber is actually my great academic grandfather. So I'm the great grandchild of chemical warfare, at least on an academic front. That's a lot of broken eggs for that omelet. No, they're two unrelated things. It wasn't even like they were necessary to make his innovation. They were two completely unrelated things. So, yeah. All right, if anyone has, Bridget, you should put in your initials. You earned it.
That is the creepiest finger I've ever seen.
That's the worst part of this game right there is the finger.
Look at that.
Bad. It's amazing your initials are bad.
I know. That's why I married Eugene.
Yeah.
And changed my name.
You should go to the doctor. Ken's great scientific grandfather. Yeah, that was a factoid from class today, actually. What your finger looks like after you do drugs off the streets. Just click end. All right, if anyone has suggestions on people we should raid, please suggest them now. We're going to do that. But thank you again for joining us, Ask a Scientist Gaming.
Thanks for letting me play.
Mediocre gameplay, but we did win the war on drugs tonight, and we talked about expert science. So went through a range of topics. So we really appreciate you guys stopping by. Bridget, any parting words for the audience?
No, just thank you. This was fun.
That's it.
That's it.
Spent 3 hours with the... Okay. But anyway, thank you for joining us. In 2 weeks, our guest will be me, actually. So we do an annual Q&A with students that are interested in graduate school or graduate programs or graduate admissions. Turns out I'm the chair of graduate admissions at Florida State University Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. Justin Kennemer will be the host of the evening, and so he will be feeding me questions. I'm going to have to decide what games to play, but NARC will definitely be on the list. So we'll do some speed runs with NARC, maybe some Russian Attack, maybe some Mario Maker. We'll see what happens. But if you know anyone that's interested in applying to graduate school or is curious about the graduate school experience, have them join us in 2 weeks. That's November 2nd, 8 to 11 p.m. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for joining us. We're going to figure out someone to raid. Let's see if Ken can beat 2550. I think I have a shot, but I haven't done it on stream. No,
wait till I leave.
Wait, I actually have a time. I was the first one to play NARC on stream, and it's something like 38 minutes. So you already beat me. Wait, where is it?
What is a raid suggestion?
2819. The Anchored Albatross. Basically, we're going to bring our viewers to somebody else and just drop by and say hi on our way out. Oh. But yeah, swing by in 2 weeks. Ask me questions about graduate school or whatever. We're happy to answer and talk about anything. But until then, we're going to do a quick raid, and we'll see you guys again in 2 weeks.